going to give you a quick demo of our CTN Network website, ctnnetwork.net. Join our community. It is free. You just type in ctnnetwork.net, and this is the homepage right here. And if you want to create an account, you would just click up here and create new account right here. Sign up with your email, or you can sign up with just clicking on Facebook or Google. So you can sign up with your Facebook account or your Gmail. So I'm already signed up, so I'm going to click in Gmail right here, and it's going to log me in. And as you can see, this is our homepage. Click on creators right here, and this shows you all the CTN family members that are content creators. Everybody is on here. If you want to go to one of their YouTube channels, for example, if you want to go to Crypto Talk Now, just click on channel, and it takes you right over to the YouTube channel for that particular creator. And you click on community. This is our community right here. We do have a forum, and this is a forum where you can post things, you can interact with one another. And there's also a blog right over here that we post our own content on. And if you click on CTN Studios, you can watch our live show and other content creators' live shows right through this CTN Studios. We do have advertisements for some of the content creators. There's the Crypto Smith, there's Waddy, the Crypto Hunter, and we also have live charts for the ISOs right in this box right here. We have a feature where you click on the heart if you want to donate to us. You can donate with Ethereum or Binance, BNB. And also, if you click on this button right here, we're going to have a call-in feature, which is already live. If you want to call us, just click on the green icon, the green phone icon, and click on call now. And during the show, between 9:15 and 10, when we announce it, when Max is on or when I'm on with Max, we will start accepting phone calls, and you guys can be live with the show. If you want to turn your video on, you can come on camera as well. So good stuff there. Now, back onto the homepage, if you click on members, you can see all the people that are members here. All these people here, like Chaka just signed up, Gills33, Miguel, all these people here are members of our community. So you guys can sign up, and then you can chat with one another. So you can either click over here, message right here. So what I'm going to do, guys, is I'm just going to welcome him. I'll send him a quick message, and then I can click enter or just a little arrow. If you want to message somebody else, you can click on message, or you can go right over here into members chat and go ahead and message them and create a new chat if you want by clicking this little button right here. Now, also, if you scroll down here, you can see some of the past videos that our content creators in our content creator family have created. You can go in here and watch some of the recorded videos. They're scrolling down here. Just choose one to watch. And that's it, guys. Thank you for watching this brief demo. Make sure you sign up so you can interact and be part of the community when we are not on the live show.
Singing this song, I see I was wrong. To chain you down, I was the clown. I'm singing this song, I see I was wrong. To chain you down, I was the clown. I know now what you're all about. I've had the time to run out. I pray for the touch of your hand. Your love is so, so grand. Oh, baby.
Hello, everybody. Glad to be with you guys here today. I have a brand new camera, finally, right? I know some of you guys have been waiting for this. Probably you noticed that CTN has kind of been out of whack for a while. You're probably getting tired of it, but I got it in the mail earlier today, and it got good reviews, and I thought I would go with this. So I tested it on the recorded video section for OBS for when I do deep dives. I also tested it on the live long before the show started. So I said, you know what, let's get back to this, into the swing of things, right? And hopefully we'll get the momentum that we need now. Recorded videos, no problems with the live and so on. I just got to help Larry get his situation resolved as well. But I'm glad to be here with you guys, and it's going to be a great show. I want to state this much, that the main emphasis tonight for the show will be Stellar XLM have quite the segment for Stellar. So if you're looking to, see some Stellar news, you definitely tuned in at the right time. So of course we still have some Jasmine, Quant, a little bit of XRP. But for the most part, those are going to be the top headlines. We have some notes in regards to some other projects and so on. But I'm glad to be back. And hopefully you guys like the camera. It's a little bit more clear from the other one. It wasn't one that like broke the bank or anything, but it's a pretty good, highly reviewed camera. So I'm pleased about that. All right, smash that like if you haven't done so already. Let's start off with the first comment of the day. It comes from Tim Shea. He says, "Hey, glad to have you here, Mr. Tim Shea, the mayor of crypto, the crypto commissioner representing the 589th district of the XRP Army. Let's go get it." Brittany's in the house. She says, "Happy Thursday. Happy Thursday to you, Ms. Brittany. Glad to have you here as usual." I want to say hello to Mr. JC the Man, and thank you so much for being here, Mr. Josh Cornwell the Man. And if anything, we're gonna give you guys, or give you, I should say, a little plug, because why not? You can follow JC the Man. You could do it one or two ways. You could go over to ctnnetwork.net. He is listed as a creator, and then from there you can click on his channel. It takes you over to YouTube. And as you can see right here, Mr. JC, the Man, is up to 103 subs. I'm sure he would like to have some more subs. You can follow him, and he does have new content that's out 4 hours ago. Pretty cool stuff. He's even done some live stuff in the past and some shorts, of course. He's got some new shorts. So cool stuff from JC, the Man. We'll leave that up there for you, kind sir. All right. I want to welcome Mr. GS. He says hello. He's got the frog out, maybe because of Pepe. Eddie T said, "What's up?" Smash that like button. Thank you for being here, Eddie T. Dingy says, "Can someone correct me? XRP has 275,000 holders. Jasmine has almost 51,000 holders. Why would I correct you on that? That sounds about right to me." All right. But glad to have you back, Dingy, as well as Eddie T. Saying what's up to Din. Crypto Jedi, welcome back. He states, "Okay, so what the hell do I do with my ledger in NOx? Do I run it over with my truck after I move my crypto to a safer wallet?" That's exactly what you do. That's exactly what you do. You absolutely need to run it over with a truck. And I don't know why you haven't done that already. So, of course, move it to a safer place and then run it over with a truck. And then after you run it over with a truck, take it from there, and it's going to be all demolished, right? And then you're going to take it, and then you're going to say to yourself, "You know what? I never made homemade fireworks before." So, look on the internet on how to make homemade fireworks and so on. And you pack all this powder mixed with, for instance, the smashed up leisure remains, and you pack it all into one solid, amazing firework. And then you light that bad boy on 4th of July coming up. Or maybe do it on Memorial Day weekend. I don't know. But whatever the case be, that's what you do with it. Not financial advice. Okay. Jedi, use it as a decoy for Elizabeth Warren. Use my ledger as a butt plug for Elizabeth Warren. Oh my gosh, I can't believe you actually said that in the same sentence as Elizabeth Warren. I do not want to picture Elizabeth Warren in any type of butt plug. I'm good on that, but thank you. All right, Coochie Boy's in the house. Welcome, Coochie Boy. Glad to have you here, Mr. Cooch. When I think of like Coochie Boy, I want to think of like, this Coochie Boy, but I don't want to think of this for Elizabeth Warren. How do we go from Elizabeth Warren butt plug to Coochie Boy simultaneously? Was that planned? Is it like crypto? Was this planned? All right. Brian Dowie says, "Sup, Max? Good to have you here, Mr. Brian Dowie. Hopefully you're doing a lot better." I saw briefly in the comments that Tim Shea was saying that you had a bad day. I'm sorry you had a bad day. I hope things are getting better for you, Mr. Brian Dowie. Like I punched my camera, my new camera. Mr. Cool Cat Crypto's in the house. Who did you go troll? Or, you mentioned that you do go and mess with other streams. So who did you mess with today? Welcome, Mr. Cool Cat Crypto. GS is back. Max, thumbs up. I think I already welcomed you, though. Let's see who else we didn't welcome. I want to welcome Mr. Michael Montclair. What up, all and everyone? Thank you. You know, and the other beautiful thing about having the new camera is there was no conflict on any of the software. My keyboard, I thought I was going to have to get a brand new keyboard. I have no conflicts with that on the drivers. It's just really weird. You think, why would a keyboard have conflicts with drivers? It would go off like crazy with the previous camera, and there's no hiccups at all with this new one. And it's just plug and play. Don't even need software for it. I'm very pleased with this so far. Glad to have you here, Mr. Michael Montclair. I want to welcome Mentalek. Hello, is it Mentalek you're looking for? Lionel Richie. Smash that like for the one and only Mentalek. He's been very busy on crypto Twitter, letting everybody know about Jasmine, use cases, you name it. Very, very pleased with some of your amazing tweets that you've been sending out. You're very active, sir. Thank you. Appreciate it. All right, we're going to read a few more comments and then we'll kick it right into our news coverage tonight. But I'm glad to have you guys here. Yes, run it over with the truck, says Triple C. Peel out on it. Yeah, very, very true. Coochie Boy says, hey, Max, the Dean of Crypto. Wow, that's a new title. Thank you for that. You guys are all saying hello to each other. That's good stuff. And we'll just welcome a few more people. Oh, okay. Well, that's good. I'm glad that things are better for you, Mr. Brian Dowie. I want to welcome Mr. Elon Muff, a.k.a. Michael Cornwell. Glad to have you here, Michael. Yo, Mentalek is a beast for the Jasmine community. He is a beast. He is the beast, but he's not from the Far East. He's representing the Far East, as in Japan. Brian now says, cool cat, my high water pressure golden bidet. And Elon Musk for vice president. Or it might be for, Mr. Elon Muff. All right. W. Irv is back. He says, what up, Max? What up to you, Mr. W. Irv? Glad to have you back. I want to state this, for everybody's like, I got some DMs, right? People are like, hey, man, is everything okay? You haven't put out a video in like 5 days. I'm like, my camera's all jacked up, having problems and so on. So things are going to get back in full swing again. I'm looking forward to doing that and so on. So I got to get momentum kicking back. But anyway, yeah, glad to have you here, Mr. W. Irv. Also, River says good evening with the moose is loose. And William Bow, Art Block. Yes, we have talked briefly about Art Block before. Welcome, William Bow. Consider changing your avatar. Maybe change it to something from Art Block. It's up to you. All right. I also want to welcome the one and only Wayne Side. Dude, serious up, man. Like Shaw. It's down like Mission Bay, bro. Then went down to Oceanside. I was like, oh my gosh, man. I'm going to catch a gnarly pipe. And then I'm going to watch CTN later with Max. Shaw. Well, hey, bro. Like, serious up. Got to check out what's going on with the ways of crypto, man. All right. Let's welcome Dan Armin. Yo. What up, everyone? What up to you as well? Let's kick it into what we have for today's lineup. Smash that like if you haven't done so already. Let's see what's going on with the likes. We are currently at 15 likes. It was 16, and then it went to 15 because somebody hates me. They're like, ski guys, I'm going home. This guy don't talk about crypto. All right. Max, do you have that TP TikTok Larry playlist? No, I do not have that. At least I don't think so. Unless, well, here's the thing, all right? So I don't have my old phone on me. I only currently have my new phone. So I just got my new phone yesterday. And I don't have, at least I don't think so. Yeah, I don't have that, unfortunately. But you can send it to me on Twitter and I'll play it for you guys. All right, so let's kick it into what we have. I'll use Tim Shea's comment right here as a bookmark. Let's get into a little bit of what we have. I guess I'll just read this real quick. W. Max, you keep me bullish on Jasmine on the tube, and Mentalek keeps me bullish on Twitter. Bullishness overload. Cool, man. I'm glad to do it. Milady, coin anyone in. No, I'm not into that one. All right. Okay, let's do this. Let's kick it into what we have. This is a quote from Warren Buffett. Now, you may be thinking, why the heck would you want to share that, Max? This guy's the most anti-crypto guy out there. I wouldn't agree with that statement. I would say Elizabeth Warren is. But we can apply some of this to crypto. So let's go ahead and share this. And, I'm going to show some key things that are mentioned here. And again, please smash that like before we get this program out to a wider base. So here are 15 quotes from investment giant Warren Buffett. And if anything, I'll try to blow it up a little bit more so you guys can see some of the highlighted quotes. This is from a guy I've been following, right? He's not, oh, this is not the guy. This is a different guy. I'll follow him anyway. This is from like, somebody from the Jasmine community, but it's some good quotes, So here are 15 in regards to these specific quotes, and we'll get into some of the news, but this is good stuff, right? So, number one, don't invest in businesses you don't understand, right? Like even with some of the ones that we cover, right? We cover roughly, about 11 to 12 consistently, like what you see tagged in the video, right? Whether it's BSV, Quant, XRP, XLM, XDC, and so on, right? For the most part, what you see in the thumbnail is usually what we consistently try to cover. But as the saying goes, don't ape into anything, right? Don't invest in businesses you don't understand. We cover, for instance, Quant quite a bit. We cover, obviously Jasmine quite a bit. The way I look at it is whatever we present to you, whether it's me or, Larry and so on, the key thing is like, Jasmine, data democratization. Am I going to talk about data democratization without giving you an outline about why that makes sense? No, I'm not going to do that. That would just be ridiculous. So I'm not going to shill something that's not going to make sense without doing any proper research. You yourself don't ape into something. That's why they call it aping. When you don't do more of your own research. So I would agree with this. If you can't hold stocks for 10 years, don't even think about holding stocks for 10 minutes. To a sense, you can apply some of this towards crypto. As far as being 10 years, I don't think that's the case. I mean, there's a lot of good, solid projects that you should see do well within these 4-year cycles, especially when it comes to crypto. And we have outlined that quite a few times. Investing means buying a good stock or, for instance, crypto at a good time and holding onto it as long as it is a good company. Perfect example, you did see Quant drop below $100. That's a good time to acquire it. Would have been a better time to acquire it back when it was $40 when we originally, start talking about it, or when Mike Cornwell introduced it, some of the other guys before summer 2022. Well, absolutely. But for instance, there's other ones, right? You could still apply XLM at roughly 8.5 cents. You could apply XDC at roughly 3 cents. You could apply Jasmine at 0.004567 roughly, right? So find things at a great price with a decent company. That's what we're doing. America's richest people didn't make their fortunes by investing in a portfolio of 50 companies. Their vast personal fortunes were built by pursuing one good business. Aha! Now we have something not to agree with, right? Well, where's Max going with this? Well, as you guys know, I'm personally invested in about 47 to 50 different projects. Some of you guys, like Mr. Elon Muff, might be invested in 203 to 300 of these particular ones, right? But the key thing is not everything that's mentioned here I see eye to eye with. So, my thing, especially when it comes to crypto, I don't want to be a maxi on something. For instance, you don't want to be a BTC maxi. So I wouldn't agree with that. May people get interested when everyone starts to heat up in the stock market, or for instance, with crypto, right? But really, you have to be interested when you are not interested. Like this show, for instance, right? Why does Max come on every single day? Especially when Larry has had problems with his eyes and talk about stuff for good times and bad, right? Because at the end of the day, the way I look at it is I need to be interested when I'm not that interested, because I need to pay attention to what's going on in good times and bad. It says you cannot buy stocks or you cannot buy crypto that are already gaining popularity, right? If you enter into, for instance, a particular crypto asset while it's gaining popularity, in my opinion, it may be too late. What's a perfect example of that? Like PayPay, for instance. What's another perfect example of that? When Bitcoin went to 69K on 11/11/2021, do not FOMO in. If anything, take advantage of the accumulation phase, which I still believe that we are currently in. How about this one? Money, to some extent, takes you to interesting places, but money won't make you more people who love you or make you healthier. I agree to disagree. If Fat Kid loved cake and Fat Kid, all he wants to do is basically stuff his face with fast food all the time, well, that might be because he has a money problem, right? But if Fat Kid at the same time, has a lot of money to basically spend towards maybe getting a Nutrisystem diet, are we going to agree with this statement? Probably not. All right, how about this one? Many people argue where the money went, but I'm more interested in where the money goes. Very, very true. The important thing is to do what you love very well. I actually do love doing this. There's times in which maybe I don't want to talk about it, but I still try to be consistent. And I try to come on and maybe talk about things while they're, while things are up or while things are bad, right? And if anything, a lot of you guys are here for the same reasons. Money is just a byproduct of that. As my friend would say, one of my best friends, Jerry Tapia, and that is money but doesn't buy happiness. But it sure as the hell makes a great down payment. All right? Fair enough. When I think about consulting and deciding, I look in the mirror. How about this one? The trick is to do nothing when you have nothing to do. Ooh. How about this? Price is what you pay, value is what you get. What kind of value are we getting from some of our investments? Are we getting a lot of value from it? Does some of our investments, do they have solid use case? Are we complaining because the price of it didn't go to the moon overnight? Well, maybe that's good that it didn't go overnight. Maybe we want something that's more sustainable over a wide, broader perspective or throughout years to come. How about this? What should we learn from history is that the fact that people do not learn from history. Sad, right? How about this one? It takes 20 years to get decent reputation for people around you, but that reputation can crumble in 5 minutes. Keeping that in mind will change the way you live your life. And of course, here's Mr. Buffett. I thought of some good quotes. I thought I would go ahead and retweet it. And if anything, I'm going to jump back into the comments. We'll try our best to do like a 5 minutes in, 5 minutes out, 5 to 7 minutes roughly. All right, smash that like if you haven't done so already. We will get into the next part of our coverage, which is today. And I'm going to show you some other key announcements that we're going to get into here in a bit. I'm going to go ahead and highlight some comments here in a bit. Cool Cat Crypto says, come on, Pepe, head north. Well, I hope that works out for you and many others. Give dabs to Wayne. I want to welcome Harlem Stuntman. Welcome. Always wanted to go to the world famous Apollo Theater. It is on my bucket list. Shout out to you in Harlem. Uptown Manhattan, right? Anyone staking SGB, XDC, I guess you could say liquidity pool on Flare Farm. You know what? Maybe Mike Cornwell can answer that. But let's welcome everybody. Harlem Stuntman. That's a cool name. And any other questions, comments you have, feel free to do so. Let's give a warm welcome to Harlem Stuntman. I haven't seen you here before. Maybe you were here the other day when Larry was here, but glad to have you here. All right, want to welcome also Magic Power. Hello, guten Tag, Liechtenstein Exchange. Jasmine in the house. Thank you for being here, Mr. Magic Power. All right. The buffet knows what's up. Yes, the buffet knows what's up. But you know what it also knows? Oh, you said Buffett. I was talking about buffet. Yeah, I was gonna say, like, if you go to buffet, you're getting quantity over quality. Let's just be honest about that. Unless you go to like Vegas, right? They got some good stuff. Yes, but Warren Buffett does know what's up. Don't agree with him on his crypto stance, but that's okay. All right, Brian Daly says he's thinking about spending his XRP on an XLM on my golden bidet. Oh no, I don't want to do that. That XLM going to buy a lot of golden bidets. Can we hold perpetual contracts for 10 years? I don't think so. But you know who does have the answer for that would be Mr. Elon Musk. All right, Abdul Jawad. Welcome back, Jasmine. Let's go. Thanks for coming back, Mr. Abdul Jawad. I want to welcome the one and only Boomer Sooner, who did retweet our show earlier. You do it quite often. Thank you very much for doing that. I would agree with this. Let's go, Jasmine. Let's read a couple more comments. Adam's staking rewards alone will score you bidets. That's interesting. I don't stake as much as I used to in the past. You're drinking Dr. Pepper. That's cool. I'm drinking, even though he's not here, I'm drinking some Rain fat juice, you know? Basically, not really Rain fat. It's, you know, Rain's fat juice is avocado, milk. What was the other thing he used to include? that would give him, you know, a mud butt special. But you know, mud butt special or not, I do miss that guy. Shout out to Rayan. Hopefully he's doing well. Hopefully he's not stuck on a toilet and then transferring his, you know what, to a bidet. But you know, glad you guys are watching your diabetes. You know. Anyway, Gumta, welcome back. Don't be philosophical when you are business. Be practical. Follow the money, like Rosie Rios said. That's a good quote, man. And welcome, Mr. Gumta. Gumta. All right. Want to welcome back Marvin Davis. What up, Max and the CTN fam? Do y'all know that there are only 68,833 XTC holders? That is 0.00088% of the population. Oh, man. When people say we're so early, there's some stats for you guys. All right, smash the like if you haven't done so already. Thank you for being here tonight. We do have an emphasis tonight, Cool Cat Crypto, for XLM. We'll get to that in a bit. I want to welcome Mr. Selmo Fudd. Glad to have you here, Mr. Selmo Fudd. Or, you know, you do it like that, obviously, because you're trying to bring awareness, which is good. Glad to have you here, Mr. Selmo, a longtime supporter of CTN. And you know, you watch a lot of other shows and so on. I think you're just a great community person as well. All right. One more comment from Elon Musk. He says, "I'd like to watch him croak while I eat popcorn and smile." Oh boy. Okay. All right. I'll read this. This is funny. Rain is sitting on that quant waiting until next year. Yeah, he did say that he would come back next year. So we'll see. We'll see. All right, let's go ahead and highlight that. Let's jump into some brief announcements that we have. Let me show you this. I already shared this with Mr. Elon Musk the other day. I thought this was interesting. I mean, I don't really talk a lot about Globiance, but maybe they're fans of the show. You know, some people point out that, like, you know, whether it's, you know, Richard Common Sense Crypto, like some of these guys like secretly watch the show. I don't get that. You know, my thing is, well, you just comment. No big deal. Anyway, it's really them. Globiance, you know, aka GBEX, apparently they watch the show. They follow me, I follow them. Pretty cool stuff. See, 3,000 followers. I don't know. Maybe I should do more videos or something on Globiance. We'll give them a quick little plug right here. So they retweeted about 16 hours ago. Great news ahead. More about their STO on finance.yahoo. We'll bring that up in just a bit. So it says Globiance Pay security token offering the future of banking. So what is this all about? And this comes, of course, straight from Yahoo Finance. This was posted, I believe, yesterday, right? We're on the 25th. So welcome. We're almost there, guys, to Memorial Day weekend. All right. Hong Kong Access Wire, May 24th, Globiance. Let me just double check my settings real quick. Make sure you guys see it. Yep, you can. A multi-service platform, like it says, for all financial solutions, announced the launch of its security token offering, STO, to raise funds for its global expansion and development. The STO presents an opportunity for investors to own a revenue share of the entire Globiance Pay group. Globiance Pay aims to operate licensed and regulated banking, securities, dealing, and investment management services worldwide. The issuance of 100 million GB Pay tokens priced at $1 USD each, with the added benefit of a bonus structure for early investors. A little bit more in regards to this. So it says token holders have the potential to receive a 7.5% revenue share of the Globiance Pay Group's business indefinitely. Excuse me, I almost said infidelity. Oh my gosh. You know, Papa Doc, what you going to do, right? All right, yeah, I kind of messed that part up. Anyway, independent of profits, which may attract investors, basically, right? Furthermore, there may be an option to convert the tokens into equity at a later stage. That sounds interesting. You know, you got to admit, even right off the surface, you didn't know much about Globiance. That sounds interesting. You know, you might want to do more of your own research. For some of you guys watching, maybe you even heard of Globiance before. So Globiance Pay, STO, began in April 2023 and is available to both retail and professional investors in various jurisdictions. The STO is being conducted on the Globiance Pay security token platform, which seamlessly integrates with Globiance's main platform. By choosing basically an STO. Globiance Pay aims to provide legal certainty, transparency, and compliance to its investors and regulators. The company's further expansion plan includes, for instance, Europe, the UK, North America, South America, Asia, Africa, Middle East, CIS, and Australia. I'm not going to read this part in regards to about, Globiance. Some of you guys obviously know about it, but this is a nice announcement to share with you guys. And on top of that, the way I look at it is, this is one of the standout projects that is built on XDC. And a lot of you guys, of course, invested into Globiance. All right. I'm going to share another brief announcement with you guys. Smash that like if you haven't done so already. Thank you to everybody who's here tonight. Really do appreciate you guys. So I'm going to get into not necessarily another announcement. I'm going to kick it into what we have for Jasmine. But before I do so, I'm going to try to keep up with the 5 minutes in and the 5 minutes out. So let's just go ahead and do this. All right. So Summer Fuzz saying what's up to Mr. Muff. All right. What is this? He's not ready for butt blaster mode. Would that be referred to Ran? Ran's ears are probably ringing at this point, which is okay. Yes, we all hope that Brian feels better today. I don't know what happened, but whatever the case be, I hope you feel better. We worked up to 3 million, Jasmine. You already got me well beat by triple or more than triple. I'm just trying to get to 1 million. But that's amazing, Mr. Elon Muff. All right. Cool Cat Crypto says he traded his GBEX. He made 5 on it. Did you play the Loonies, famous song 5 on it while you were trading it? Elon Musk says long as F. If it dips, he's ready to buy more as well. That's the way I look at it as well, my friend. Cool stuff. To Mr. Elon Musk. Jasmine rare yellow diamonds. All right. Marvin Davis, GBEX is the bomb. Shiba Inu of utility, registered bank, DEX, and exchange all in one. Cool stuff, Marvin. Right on. GBEX is great. I just like BSV better. Yes, that's understandable. You got to go with what you love. Yeah, we know that. You got to go with what you love, man. I love, Crypto Jedi's got an announcement. He's uploaded a new Jasmine video on his channel. Well, let's see. Maybe we can give you a little plug. The Crypto Jedi. To the right one. 6 hours ago. All right. Maybe we'll just play a little bit and then people can watch the rest. So let's share this real quick from the Crypto Jedi. This is the crypto you're looking for. Lionel Richie. Okay. So he's got one about the Jasmine dip. Well, it's only 3 minutes and 22 seconds. And if anything, it gives him a free plug. But you should go watch it anyway. It kind of helps the channel. Man, you're almost up to 1.4. Cool, man. All right, we're going to go ahead and share this. And if anything, maybe you could hear from Yoda, what do you have? Cha-cha-cha you are. No, I'm kidding. All right, let's go ahead and play this. Here we go.
Welcome, fellow crypto.
All right.
Welcome, fellow crypto investors. I am the Crypto Jedi. And in this video, we're going to take a look at Jasmine. I am accumulating more and more Jasmine as there is a lot of talk of fear in the market, especially with the debt ceiling, raising of interest rates, inflation, and fear.
Fear leads to panic selling.
I am going to take advantage of all this fear. As you know, the price is going to drop. It's going to dip, most likely. And I will load up my bags. Current Jasmine price, CoinGecko, 00462699, less than half a penny. Also, let us check out CoinMarketCap's prices for Jasmine. A little bit less than what CoinGecko is reporting. So I want to share with you my investment strategy for Jasmine. Is I'm going to accumulate as much as I can because I feel that Jasmine could hit $1 and beyond on the next bull run. So imagine if you're holding 10,000, 100,000 Jasmine and reaches $1. Well, there you have it. You have $100,000. So that's my investment strategy. I could sure use $100,000 right about now. And I could take some of that and invest in other stuff like XRP, XLM, XDC, HBAR, Casper, IOTA, Quant, Bone Shiba Swap. You get where I'm going with this? Before I go any further, I want to just hit you with the disclaimer. I am not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice. Ain't that right, Master Yoda?
Financial advice. This is not.
If you're into Jasmine like I am, I recommend you go on Twitter and follow Hera to get your latest Jasmine news and update. So, when is the next bull run? Can Jasmine hit $1? Is that realistic? I think it is realistic. What say you, Master Yoda? When do we expect this to happen?
And price prediction. Hard to see. Shrouded this is. Hold, we must.
For a crypto like Jasmine, I'll hold. I'll diamond hand for Jasmine. But for like Pepe, that's a coin that I'll just like sell as soon as there's profit. I'll get out of there real quick. That'll be a DGen play. That's what I would do. Not financial advice. You do what you do, but that's what I would do. Because Jasmine is a solid project. It's a crypto that's gonna go places, go up in value. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please give it a like. Hit me up on Twitter, the Crypto Jedi 2. I am the Crypto Jedi. May the Force take all your crypto investments to all-time highs. Goodbye.
Follow Hara, you must. Give us unofficial plug, you will. Thank you for that. That was awesome that you gave us like an unofficial plug. So, just like what was mentioned earlier, I don't know if it was from GS, the whole thing about, Elizabeth Warren and the plug. So we gave you a plug and you gave us a plug on the recorded video. So awesome. Cool stuff, man. All right. Let's kick it back in the comments just for a brief bit. We'll get into what we have next. But glad to see that you upload a new Jasmine video. And that was super cool, man. Your friend or whoever he is that does the the Yoda impersonations, he is spot on, man. Spot on. Very cool. Man, we just got to get more of this out there. If anything, let me see. I will tell you what. I am going to share this on Crypto Twitter. I'm going to say, hey, everyone. Let me share this real quick. Check out this amazing Jasmine video with the best Yoda impersonation I have ever heard. Hashtag Jasmine. Follow Crypto Jedi. All right. Cool stuff, man. There we go. That was cool. Anyway. Oh, yeah. All right, cool. All right, let's read a few more comments. Glad that people are welcoming each other. This is good stuff. Crypto Jedi says he has 44,000 Jasmine. He wish he had more, but he has been accumulating next era. There's nothing wrong with that. You got to go with what you got to go with. Cool Cat Crypto says he traded his Jasmine for Pepe, and Pepe is F. Effing you again? Oh, no, that's not good. Pepe, stop effing me. Wow. All right. Larry's in the house. He says hit the like button. Thank you for that, Mr. Ooh, Larry. Ooh. All right. Tim Shea says, cool cat, June 1st. It's just around the corner. Should get bullish. And we're going to talk about some of these key things with some of these dates. Cool cat says bullish as F. And he's happy about that. All right, GS, dang, Jasmine got a pump June 1st. I mean, it could. It might not. I mean, you got to keep in mind, it's all about the utility being used, right? And I think that we have come to the conclusion that we have to understand that, especially when March 20th came around for ISO 222. It's just the messaging, right? It's all about the utility actually being used, not so much of a messaging system or a specific date. And it's also about supply and demand. So there's always all sorts of factors. All right, excuse me. Marvin Davis, 100K would be very nice. Not too bad. Mentalek, it's realistic for Jasmine to hit $1, says Yoda. Yeah, I love that Yoda impersonation, man. Shout out to your friend, Mr. Crypto Jedi. He's killing it with the Yoda impersonations. All right, let's see what else we got up in here. Don't know how to pronounce your name, but I'm going to go with Exceptional Shao. Hello, Elon Muff. Interesting. You could have said hello to everybody, but you secluded, emphasis to Elon Musk. So, I guess Mr. Muff he's like Tupac. He kind of gets around. But let's welcome you. Glad to have you here. Crypto Jedi says he tells his friends the CTN is the best channel for Jasmine. Thanks, man. I'm trying to get back on the swing of things. I definitely will. Who knows? Maybe people will be like, "Oh man, you're back." I don't know. Maybe they won't care. But if anything, I'll be glad to bring it back. Mr. Cash Cats is in the house. I'm always happy when I see you, Cash. Thanks for being a supporter. Glad to have you back, Mr. Cash Cats. How about this from Dingy? Got some 5K Jasmine more because Hara got the blue check mark. All right. Well, you got to go with what you got to go with, Dingy. That's cool, man. You got to see 3 seconds of Hara, right? Yeah, but Max, it wasn't live. I know. It was recorded. All right. Hello. Thanks for joining us. Yes, thank you very much. All right, let's kick it into what we got next for you guys. Smash that like if you haven't done so already. And we're going to jump into what we have here briefly. It was a little bit more in regards to Jasmine. All right, so let's jump into some of this. And this comes from the Icy Amphibian, very, very active member of the Jasmine community. Active AMAs, you name it, right? Boil it, mash it, stick it in the stew. Okay, so this comes from Icy Amphibian. I highly recommend you follow him if you want, stay up to date also on Jasmine news. You guys were talking about June earlier, right? Lots of things happening in June, whether it's Japan, Hong Kong, you name it, right? June is looking like a potentially huge month for Jasmine. Number one, Hong Kong, new crypto rules go into effect, and we'll get into some of this. Shout out to Henry Brown. He might not be here tonight, but I did decide to share some of his content or some of the things that some of the things that he shared. So we'll get into that. Number two, Jasmine Labs with token economy launch. Secure PC via launch from Hong Kong for the Asian market. Right, Crypto Jedi and Yoda. All right, Binance Japan launch. Yes, and everybody's hoping, especially us Jasmine holders, that we will see Jasmine on Binance Japan. All right. Now here's the thing, right? Will we get Jasmine out of regular Binance? Okay, out of the innovation zone, or will it be a case of Jasmine is in or listed on Binance Japan, but it's also still in the innovation zone? That'd be kind of weird, right? But we all have to look at all these possibilities. Where the case be, right? Let's say it gets out of the innovation zone, and we also get Binance Japan. Well, do you really think Jasmine is going to be at these particular prices when that happens? My answer would be no. I could be wrong, but to me, that would make sense that you should see some, simply see more volume. I mean, that makes sense. More volume could equal to, more upside potential for Jasmine. All right. Overseas stablecoins like USDT and USDC can enter the Japanese market. Now, there's some familiar faces that are responding to this, and it's good stuff. But I want to jump into what we have from Henry Brown. So Henry Brown retweeted this, and he says, Hong Kong's largest crypto bank, ZA Bank, to offer cryptocurrency trading. Okay, this comes from ourbitcoinnews.com. So we're going to jump over to this for a brief bit. And there's this whole outline that was mentioned. It was mentioned earlier today. And like it says, a few key things. Providing services to individual investors under new regulations. Hong Kong's largest virtual bank, which is ZA Bank, if you're not aware of it, they announced on the 24th that it plans to offer crypto asset virtual currency trading services for individual investors in Hong Kong. ZA Bank plans to partner with local authorities, licensed crypto exchanges to allow retail investors to use ZA Bank's app to trade cryptocurrencies with fiat. And it is currently in the process of obtaining the necessary approvals from regulatory authorities. Now, I just want to state this for a brief moment. So yesterday, and I don't have the particular tweet on this, but you can look more into it. I think I might have retweeted it. I can't remember. But we did get an announcement that, mainland China is allowing out of nowhere for citizens to purchase BTC. Now, we also got to keep in mind that Hong Kong, right? It's a little bit different there. You know what I mean? Yes, we understand since I think January 1st, 1998, Hong Kong is now part of mainland China, but is how it's governed and so on, and some of the regulations and, the way of business is being done is not exactly the same type of environment as, just mainland China, the People's Republic of China. So with the combination of mainland China, supporting out of nowhere, citizens being able to buy BTC, and you see some of this, I mean, this is bullish news in general when it comes to all this. A little bit more from this person. He is CEO Ronald Yu, if I pronounced that right. He explained, "We welcome licensing guidelines issued by the Hong Kong Securities and Futures Commission. They also are pleased to be able to provide users with new investment opportunities in crypto. They believe that crypto has the potential to become an important asset class in the future. ZA Bank has taken a strategy to expand the financial services it offers, in addition to crypto trading, and plans to introduce trading services for U.S. stocks in the future, if you're into those type of things. ZA Bank is a subsidiary of China-based insurance services company ZA Group. The service started in March of 2020, so it's been around for at least, 3 years. It grew to have 300,000 users in just 1 year. Assets under custody in 2022 amounted to approximately 44.1 billion won, which is 2.48 billion American dollars, roughly, ranking first among Hong Kong virtual banks. And if you're wondering, this is good stuff. What is a virtual bank, right? I'd be asking that question, So here's the answer. A virtual bank is basically an internet-only bank that does not have physical stores and basically conducts everything from acquiring customers to providing banking services online. In May of 2019, the Hong Kong Monetary Authority issued virtual bank licenses to 8 companies. Now, you may be wondering, why don't we have something like this in the United States? My answer, just on the surface, is because we are the United States. Think about it. Now, maybe after we get more of that clarity that everybody's looking for, maybe you start seeing things like this over here. But I don't see this happening anytime soon over here. Let's just talk briefly about Hong Kong's new crypto regulations before we jump into the next part. Hong Kong Security and Futures Commission has announced on the 23rd, a couple of days ago, that it will implement new regulations for cryptocurrency exchanges. And again, here's the hot date that everybody's talking about, June 1st. So what does that basically mean for you? And if anything, why is there a bug on my, that's kind of strange. That's not a bug. It's a freaking spider. Just dropped all down. Oh, well, I have to kill that thing later. But anyway, yeah. So, it says the new regulations will allow investors to trade crypto. At the same time, the company plans to thoroughly protect investors by introducing a licensing system. Stocks that can be traded by individual investors must have a high market capitalization and be included in at least 2 indices, if you pronounce it the right way. And the provision of the interest rate and lending services is prohibited. All right. They're going to throw in stablecoins because, let's face it, this is always a hot topic. So stablecoins, and we got more information in regards to even Quant and stablecoins here in a bit, thanks to Quant Papa. Stablecoins will not be available for use. Oh, you little... Hold on a second. Dang thing. Unbelievable. Hold on a second. This thing is attacking me. It's trying to take me out. Hold on a second, man. I'm getting eaten by a spider. All right, sorry about that, man. That thing just started like it jumped on me and then it crawled down my leg, and it's just like, who wants to like keep a straight face while some nasty spider is crawling down your leg? It's not a great feeling. Anyway, probably lost a few people because of that, but all right, let me reshare the screen. Sorry about that, man. All right, just a few more things. We'll kick it back into the comments. So, yeah, stable coins won't be available for use until regulations are in place by 2024. Hong Kong enforces new rules for virtual currency exchange from June, stipulating issues that can be listed. This last one, right? The company plans to offer trading in crypto, NFTs, carbon credits, and more. It seems that they see it as an opportunity to do cryptocurrency business in Hong Kong amid the crackdown on cryptocurrencies in mainland China. All right, going to kick it back into the comments. Sorry about the interruption. That was kind of weird. All right. Let me see where we're at in the comments. All right. You hit your 500,000 Jasmine goal. That's awesome. Congratulations, Mr. Cash Cats. Boom. That's incredible, man. Right on. Welcome to the club. Welcome to the 500 plus club. All right. And Crypto Jetta says, can I have Yoda say butt plug Liz Warren will receive? Go for it, man. Yeah. I mean, you know how a person would say that, butt plug Liz Warren will receive. Mike's Crypto, how are you doing tonight? I'm doing great. How are you doing tonight, Mr. Mike's Crypto, representing the XRP Army? Max camera is working great tonight. Thank you. Yeah, it's and knowing that, I mean, do you guys think it's a little more clear? I think it's a little more clear. But thank you. And you know what? I don't have any of the annoying sounds of it disconnecting or any of that stuff. It's working and it's working great. So I'm looking forward to doing some recorded content, have us grow more. Numbers are obviously down, but it might be just because of the market. But all those things do play an effect, right? You gotta keep at it, just like anything, Boomer says he just leveled up to 100,000 Jasmine. Nice. I'll just start building up H-bar more. Very cool. KK, if I didn't welcome you, welcome. Glad to have you here, Mr. KK. All right. Triple C says, damn it, now I'm thinking I might trade PayPay back to Jasmine. We gotta do what we gotta do. Maddie B, good evening to all. Welcome back, Mr. Maddie B. And let me see if there's any other questions or comments. Brian Dowie says, my YouTube is messed up. Have to close it, or the same 2 to 5 comments stay on the bottom of each other. Oh, that's weird. That's strange. Yeah, I got to get used to this new phone I got. I mean, Mike, if you've been texting me or something like that, or anybody, Larry, I just got to get used to this new phone again. All right, so let's see here. Marvin Day says, any of y'all played with the calculator on XTC? I haven't done that. All right. What do we have here? No, not Ma. Brian Dowie says, Hulk had a crazy stream where someone called in and gave some crazy inside info. Anyone see it? Didn't see that. Was it inside info in regards to XRP? But it seems to be only when a comment needs to be reviewed. Okay. All right, read this from Crypto Jedi. He says, I can have Yoda say, silence Liz War's mouth through his green. Wow, I almost said that. Wow. With green Pepe, I will. How about that? I'll just say it like that. I can't do it like your friend. All right. We'll read like maybe 2 or 3 more comments. Mandy B says, yes, good news, but they trade on the first, so they're taking appellation for company make trade to season. All right. Welcome to Dave D. Glad to have you here. Check out AOL coin. Max almost at $1. 1 million market cap. AOL coin? Huh. That almost sounds like, I don't know. I don't even know what the heck. Yeah, WorldCoin. They should have a market cap of 56,000, right? Because of 56K. You look at 56,000 users. I don't know. That sounds horrible, don't it? AOL coins. I guess this is a real thing. All right, we could share this. Let's share this for a brief moment. So I'm pretty sure this is the one. AOL coin. Sitting at 36780 2245. Market cap. Well, I guess it's not really confirmed. Total supply of 369 600. So 420 trillion and some change. Huh. Smart contract of the following asset can be modified by the contract creator. For example, disabling fees, changing fees, minting new tokens, transfer tokens. More than likely, this is ERC20. Do more of your own research, of course. How long has this been around? Just came out. Wow. Huh. What stands out for you, Mr. Summerfoot? I mean, other than being low market cap, are you looking at like this might just be like kind of like how people traded PayPay, just like a next opportunity? Just let us know what stands out for in that regard. All right, Boomer says 52. Yes, old tomorrow, and I'll scream if I walk through a web. Yeah, no kidding. I mean, it's just I don't want to get bit by the spider. I mean, it was just this tiny spider, but again, I don't want to. It's kind of like a mosquito bite. Like, you got to smash a mosquito. You don't want to get bit by a mosquito. So, all right. Yeah, just, I mean, how can you keep a straight face with something crawling all over you? All right. The SEC spider thought Max was XRP. Maybe. The SEC sent that spider to stop Max from giving crypto news. Boomer would have ish all over. Mud butt. Oh, jeez. Poor Ray. Yeah, it was a spider. I don't know what kind of spider it was. All right, AOL coin straight sending a gem, maybe. All right, yeah, this is about Crypto Hulk. GS, the call is pretty crazy. That guy, a regular and has been a member for a long time. Interesting. Roman Helmet says, sup. Well, sup to you. Glad to have you back, Mr. Roman Helmet. And Token 7, I want to welcome you. Consider changing your avatar to, I don't know, maybe a nickel with 2 pennies or something like that. Who knows? If you want. Glad to have you here, though. Any questions or comments you have, feel free to drop it. And we have a very welcoming community. So, look, guys, let's welcome Mr. Token 7. Yeah, it is. I'm glad to see Mr. Cash Cats got up to that. Jeremy Kincaid, good evening. Welcome, Jeremy. Glad to have you here as well. Again, very welcome community we have. Let's welcome a few of these new guys we haven't seen before. That would be me and a lot of other people. Jeez, that's nice, Mr. Muff. 1 million and continue to buy. Yeah, you guys got some nice holdings. I'm not quite to 1 million yet, but that is my goal. No person like that would call Crypto Hulk. All right, Magic Power. It's not just about the amount of Jasmine coins, but also where you pay out in the bull run. Okay. All right, read this from April Cornwell, and then we'll kick it back into what we have on coverage. Hey, says April. Y'all been out with the kiddos planting strawberries and watermelon and pumpkins in our garden this evening. So cool. Hope everyone's day has been beautiful. Well, thank you, April. And thanks for the update in regards to all the fun activities. All right. We'll leave that as a bookmark and we'll kick it into what we got. All right. Let's kick it into the next thing of what we have. So we did share that whole thing in regards to Hong Kong, right? Which is good stuff. All right, let's talk about Japan real quick. All right, and this is also from Henry Brown. So this right here, he retweeted this last night. Japan to step up its crypto regulations from June. Okay, let's pull this up as well, just for a brief moment. And here it is. This was reported yesterday. And if anything, I'll try to blow it up a little bit more for you guys. All right. Japan to step up its crypto regulations from June. Japan aims to step up and tighten its regulations for crypto, basically. The move comes as the country's current legal framework is deemed insufficient by the global financial crimes watchdog, the FATF. Japan to enforce stricter AML rules. In regards to these rules, it says that they decided to enforce stricter anti-money laundering. If you've been following this is something that is not just brand new, right? They've been talking about this for a while. But anyways, these regulations to trace all crypto transactions, including stablecoins, which are current, or I should say, which are cryptocurrencies, as we know, pegged to fiat. The regulations involve bringing the country's legal framework in line with the global standards of the FATF. The watchdog has reportedly deemed Japan's anti-money laundering measures insufficient, thus requiring further legislative action. One critical aspect of the revised framework is enforcing the so-called travel rule. This will ensure that information on customers who engage in crypto asset transactions is fully disclosed between financial institutions, including their names and their addresses and so on. Some people feel as though, why wasn't this something that was not introduced years ago? Well, teach his own, right? But at least they're getting something going on with this right now. The rule also requires financially identifiable data to be included in each step of a given transaction. This is expected to make it more challenging to launder money and channel criminal proceeds through legal financial transactions. Japan's new regulations follow the group's the G7 support for FATF's efforts to quicken the global implementation of the travel rule. You also got to keep in mind, like what we reported earlier as well, in regards to DFFT, data free flow with trust. Was it Taro Kono was mentioning that they're hoping to get that. They want to start things off small. Remember he was talking about, build out small and expand and trying to get some of that framework really implemented by the beginning of next year. Combine some of those things from DFFT, and then also, was also mentioned here, you definitely come to the conclusion that Japan has already gotten it together, while the United States, let's face it, is not embracing crypto. Japan has grappled with the travel rule since 2021, when the country financial services agency requested virtual asset services providers to be implemented, or to implement it, I should say. In April 2022, Japan's virtual currency exchange introduced self-regulatory rules accordingly. The FATF is an intergovernmental organization combating money laundering and terrorist financing. The watchdog has maintained a blacklist and a gray list since 2000. Countries on the gray list face restrictions in the financial services sector, while those on the blacklist may be subject to economic sanctions by members of the FATF. There's more information in regards to like some of the hackers and so on. And we're going to show that for just a brief moment. So it said North Korean hackers stole over 700 million from Japanese firms. The move to enforce stricter crypto regulations comes from Japan being the biggest victim of North Korean hackers. As reported, hacker organizations tied to North Korea stole 721 million from Japanese companies between 2017 and 2022, according to study commissioned by Nikkei. Also, combine that with what happened late last year, or a few things, right? So not just late last year. So the collapse of Terra Luna, the whole thing that happened with FTX in Japan. When they want to shut things down, they act upon it. Also keep in mind the Japanese citizens that were affected from FTX were actually, I guess you could say, made whole again. We don't have those particular policies here in the United States. So, some things to consider. Anyway, I wanted to show you guys some of this stuff. The main reason why I want to show you this is because the way I look at it is, while we're always talking about a regulatory framework is the path forward towards clarity for the institutional money coming in. Yeah, we're always going to mention those specific things. But another thing you've got to keep in mind is basically, it's like Jasmine recently, the last couple of weeks, those conferences that were being held in Tokyo and so on, what is one of the main things to pay attention to? One of the main things to pay attention to was it was institutional money being exposed or being there in person, trying to find out more about some of the other crypto projects that were at, for instance, the Teams Web3 Summit, or the one that was like a week before that. But one key thing that was mentioned was this is the institutional traders, if you will, and so on. And they were already at these events. We don't have necessarily anything like that here in the United States. So, I mean, yeah, one thing to come on camera and talk about this and draw emphasis on why it's important. My thing also is, while some people, let's face it, floaters are going to complain about the Jasmine prices being so low. Why are you complaining about being so low? Are you complaining about being so low because you're a swing trader, or that's all you want to basically do with it? My thing is, I'm not looking to swing trade Jasmine, and I already see the path forward for some of this. If anything, I could appreciate that I myself and what many of you guys, Cash Cats and so on, Mike Cornwall, you guys already stacked your Jasmine. You're trying to accumulate more of that Jasmine. You're accumulating more assets from other cryptocurrencies and so on, because if anything, I think you realize that those are great opportunities to do that. You recognize some of the recent crashes, you accumulate more. And it's just that being part of an accumulation phase in crypto. Because what's going to happen next? The markup phase. You can make money in the markup phase, don't get me wrong, but you can also not be able to accumulate like how you're able to accumulate right now at these low prices. So, whether it's the Teams 3 Web Summit, some of these other things in Japan, there's so much that's coming up here, whether it's, June, or whether it is the beginning of next year with DFFT, or how about this, tax cuts for capital gains by 20% in Japan. We should talk more about that. There's so many incentives right now, but it's all focused on what? Japan. And it's definitely not focused when it comes to the United States. We're not getting no tax cuts. We're getting talks about, for instance, from the president, that we're increasing all these capital gains taxes and so on. So it's ridiculous. So, are we too far off when we mention things like, Jasmine or through Japan will help you get to the promised land first? I don't think so. I think, if anything, I should say, it should help us get towards the promised land first, because here in the United States, it just doesn't seem to be the case yet. And how many years are we going to wait in regards for all this to happen? Well, is it still going to be a 4-year cycle? Well, yeah, it could be. And there is utility runs and so on, but I'm not going to go down that deep dive path right now. Okay, back in the comments. The next part I'm going to show you is a little bit more of what we have in regards to stablecoin regulation. And it'll be an opening segment that we'll get into for the Quant coverage. All right, Brian Dowie says, cool cat, that guy is in every stream. I believe him. Cool. Triple C says, possible, take it with a grain of salt, though. All right, Brian Dowie's got a question to me. Ooh. Max, can you give us a deep dive into Pink Taco Inu? Wow. Yes, I actually can do that. Yesterday was Taco Tuesday, and there was this place that has a well-known food truck in this area that is referred to as the Pink Taco Food Truck. I should basically speak to the lady about, tokenizing her food truck for some Pink Taco Inus, and how she should start Twitter and follow you, Mr. Brian Dowie, the one and only. You, sir. All right. All right. Triple C says, gotta know your spiders. Which ones are poisonous? Yes, I do know about that. The one I definitely look out for is anything in regards to having the red hourglass on the back. Yeah. You have to be very careful about those. Jeremy Kincaid, anyone think Jasmine will hit 17? I think eventually. I'm not going to say it's going to happen next year. But I think eventually we can get to that. That's just the way I look at it. And of course, some of the things that are going to matter. And I did see, for instance, Rodney's stream. I think it was maybe it was yesterday. I think I saw Cash Cats actually in there. So he was asked by a lot of people about Jasmine. He felt as though he could go to at least $1, but 17, he didn't feel like, like, nah, that's not going to happen. One thing that was not mentioned, and I don't know if anybody posted it in the comments, and nothing, of course, against Rodney. I think he's a good guy overall. And that was, the lockup. Why didn't anybody mention the whole thing with the lockup? Now, in regards to the lockup, there hasn't been anything confirmed about it all being at once, but I've seen more evidence, not confirmed evidence, of course. The way I look at it is I got to get confirmation, whether it's from Hara or some of these other guys. Those are the ones to pay attention to. But I don't think we're going to get a lockup all at once. But the whole idea that we'll gradually get, for instance, a lockup that will lead to 70% over a duration of time, that's big. So, keep in mind, I mean, Jasmine in the future, combine that with a utility run, get more of the adoption of the secure PCs, get more of, for instance, a global outreach, right? Jasmine secure PCs in English. Then by then, well into 2024, you already have DFFT. We got some news recently in regards to, Jasmine creating its own blockchain. Everybody that's all, down in the dumps as far as like hanging their head, like, the bad news in regards to Binance and so on. If you take a more of a deeper dive into DFFT, you're going to come to the conclusion this whole focus of centralized exchanges and so on, it's not going to even really matter that much anymore. Yes, I do believe that, decentralized exchanges are definitely going to help, but if you understand a little bit more about DFFT and why that's so crucial, especially for Japan, it's crucial for Japan, but it's also crucial for getting the framework that we need on a broader base for the rest of the world, right? To me, DFFT is the pathway forward for regulatory, is the regulatory framework towards getting that clarity, and it starts in Japan, and that's where the whole thing is mentioned of Japan basically is the pathway forward to make all this come together. All right, it doesn't matter the kind of spider, time to burn the house down. Well, if that's the case, I mean, I might as well burn everything now. Because, there's some outside. And we do have a guy who comes and sprays, because I have neighbors that are just, no offense to them, but they're kind of like, they don't clean up as good as they should. They have big parties, and it's like, come on, man, you're going to attract like stuff, So yeah, I had to get everything sprayed, and I like that because my thing is, summertime comes, especially in Phoenix, you don't want to have no cockroaches in your house. That's disgusting, And so my thing is, I always try to make sure the house is clean, and on top of that, having these guys come out like once every other month to spray, I'm not complaining about it. And the company I go with, they're pretty reasonable. They're not expensive, so. And they don't spray any like, carcinogens and stuff like that. It's all natural stuff. But the proof is in the pudding, as the saying goes. So they spray for like scorpions. But we've never had scorpions in this area. Usually people that have problems with scorpions is more towards like the mountainous or hill range. I'm too far into the city for that. But we have had reports about black widows and stuff like that. So my thing is, I mean, they spray for all of it, whether it's roaches, scorpions, black widows, you name it. So, and the nice thing is it doesn't affect like geckos. I like geckos. Like the little Geico gecko. Sup, Crypto Puppet. Glad to have you here, and also Mr. Lambo's Crypto Talk. Glad to have you guys both here. Appreciate you guys. Mentalect with the intellect, says Jeremy Kincaid. Jasmine's roadmap is solid. I agree. Its leadership is experienced, and its market is huge. Virtually no competition for its use case. Some people, of course, are going to disagree with you a little bit in regards to that because of BNB Greenfield. But we have discovered that Greenfield and Jasmine are not the same thing. It would be like comparing, is Filecoin the same thing as, BitTorrent, BTT? No, it's not the same thing. But people are, of course, going to mention that. All right, I'm going to read this as well. Magic Power says you have to look into Jasmine right away, or the right way. And this is a Jasmine minimum 1000x coin. I agree with that. All right, let me double check the other screen, make sure I didn't forget anything. I think we're good. And let's get into what we have next. All right. So I want to share this with you guys. This is going to be an introduction to the Quant segment. All right. So this comes from Forbes, and it says stablecoin regulation is slowly moving forward. What investors need to know. So I'm going to get into some of this right here. It says, ever since the idea and concept of stablecoins made it to the mainstream financial conversation, these seemingly boring types of crypto assets have proven to be just as difficult to regulate as more volatile assets such as Bitcoin and NFTs are here. At both the House and U.S. Senate, there have been multiple bills proposed, but let's face it, nobody can come together on both sides for, a thing where, hey, let's meet in the middle. Headlines and market sentiment, as always, has played a part in the difficulty that regulators and policymakers have faced. As we know, Tether, despite remaining the largest and most used stablecoin in the world, has only recently taken decisive action to improve the quality and timeliness of financial reporting. Paxos, a major stablecoin issuer, including the issuance of BUSD, is facing down potential SEC lawsuits, you name it, as well as enforcement actions taken by the New York State banking regulator. Even Circle, seen many in the space as the most transparent stablecoin. As we know, we saw that depeg briefly for about not even a week, right? Came under scrutiny after a short-lived, like I just mentioned, depegging. Okay, so this is still, let's face it, fresh in the minds of the House and Senate. Is there really a pathway forward? That's the main issue, right? Is this a true statement? Are we slowly moving forward? That's the bottom line. Okay, well, introduced Quant. Now you may be thinking, introduce Quant? Like, what are you smoking here? Hear me out. All right, so this was reported from Quant Papa. He posted this yesterday. It says a few months ago, this video went private. All right. You got to keep in mind, because of NDAs and so on, this video went private. And you got to keep in mind, this guy has info like nobody's business when it comes to Quant. Now it's back. And I did verify it is back. So I'm going to share just a little bit of this, probably about maybe 6 to 7 minutes of this. But like it says right here, stablecoins are not the destination, but a stepping stone. Smash that like if you haven't done so already. If you're looking for some of the Quant news, well, here it is. Thanks for being here with us tonight. Here we go.
Hello, I'm Dominic Hobson, co-founder of Future of Finance. My guest today is Gilbert Verdian, CEO at Quant, which is dedicated to making blockchain work for banks, asset managers, insurers, and technology vendors, chiefly by ensuring that blockchain protocols and traditional systems can interoperate successfully. Our topic today is an innovation that lies at the heart of that growing convergence between blockchain-based and traditional finance, namely stablecoins. Gilbert, thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Dominic. It's great to be here.
Now, we see regulatory developments across the EU, the UK, Japan. We're seeing something very similar in Singapore and Hong Kong as well, that suggests that central banks strongly favor banks as issuers of stablecoins rather than non-banks. Do you think that is a sensible approach? Do you welcome it?
I think what we're seeing is a reaction from different regulators in different jurisdictions to manage risk in the system, and I think this is really caused by the recent events with contagion risk, with things such as FTX, such as Terra, and what we're seeing is different regulators, including the US now in the last couple of weeks, really stepping up their efforts to issue guidance to banks when they're dealing with stable coins and those types of crypto assets, and issuers of those who haven't registered correctly with the different regulator to a form of enforcement. And I think the reason behind this is really in reality preparing the financial system for regulated institutions to issue new forms of money, which are programmable, and leading to central bank currencies, and being done by trusted and insured issuers, rather than private entities without any consumer protection or risk protection to the end user and to businesses. And we're seeing that step up into these efforts in very recent times.
I've used this term stablecoin as if it's very obvious what it is. It's just one single type of instrument. In fact, there's an awful lot of variation in stablecoins, not just the asset-backed variety, not just bank issuers and non-bank issuers, but algorithmic ones, crypto-backed ones, and so on. But one model which a number of banks have followed is this tokenized deposit model. We've seen the JP Morgan coin, we've seen Wells Fargo, and now we've seen two banks in Australia, NAB and ANZ, issue stablecoins of that type. I'm not sure I'm allowed to call them stablecoins. Perhaps they should just be called tokenized deposits. What do you see as the differences between a tokenized deposit and a classic asset-backed, backed by money market instruments, essentially asset-backed stablecoin?
I think what we're seeing is kind of a transition from stablecoins in terms of the legacy thinking, and that was very associated with crypto in what you mentioned in terms of algorithmic stablecoins, and one of the larger ones such as Tether, which is some sort of backed stablecoin without a clear audit trail of what it's backed by. And I think what we're moving towards is to the institutions issuing stablecoins, that they don't see it as stablecoins, but what they're doing is they're issuing tokenized forms of money and commercial bank money, which is most likely bank deposits. And so if you look at that, it could be bank liabilities and bank deposits and commercial money. It's backed by real world cash. It's regulated by regulators with the institution issuing it. And there's a bit more trust in that system because it has the consumer protection, it has the right rigor and regulation behind it, and being issued by an institution, business and consumers can use it in the same way as cash. And I think this is a precursor to central bank money, where the same will happen with a retail or even a wholesale CBDC, where the central bank will be authorizing the issuance of these, and if they do it directly, the central bank will deposit the retail CBDC with that institution, and then it's up to the institution to use it with their customers, consumer and business, within the financial system. So I think we should start thinking about it as smart money or programmable money, backed by bank deposits in the real sense of the word.
Okay, so it's a starting point, not an end state. But one of the characteristics of that start point of these tokenized liabilities, these tokenized deposits that you've referred to, is at the moment they're usable only within the closed network of the bank itself, in effect on a private permissioned blockchain network, not a public one, and therefore it's restricted to transactions between existing clients of the bank. Although I did see that JP Morgan is working with the Monetary Authority of Singapore on its coin being used on a public blockchain network. I don't think that the results of that experiment have not been published yet. So we have these tokenized liabilities usable within the bank. Do you think, as I've just said at the outset there, that's just where we're beginning, and we're going to end up with something very different with programmable commercial bank money?
Yes, I believe so. And what we're seeing is the initial steps of innovation and aligning to regulation by each bank within their jurisdiction. And that's why it's been a very limited closed set of participants to make sure they get it right and regulators understand what is being done and how it has the same controls in terms of regulatory requirements in place. And what will eventually happen is similar to other payment systems, not everyone will be using the same bank for every single transaction. Not everyone will be using the same merchant for different types of e-commerce, for example. All of these systems will need to be linked together, and they need interoperability between them because customers will be banking with their preferred banks, and they would like to be able to use the money in their bank account in terms of acceptance in other areas outside of the bank. So what we'll see is a link up of commercial bank deposits between the banks itself through some sort of interbank network, an existing one or a potentially new one. And then wider than that, we'll see interlinking and interoperability between jurisdictions within one jurisdiction to another country for kind of global cross-border use cases where money can roam between different systems and have the same rigor and compliance with what regulators expect domestically and internationally. So it's quite an exciting evolution of where things are heading, but it has to start somewhere, and that's where we are today.
All right. Think about what was mentioned there. You know, it has to start somewhere and basically allow for the interoperability between different systems and so on. I mean, how can you really put a number of value on exactly how much that's worth? And that's, of course, where the debate comes in. But glad to see an update in regards to this talk about stablecoins and so on. And, you know, that was a nice find from Quant Papa in regards to what was, you know, something that was originally released a while back, then made private, and then now available to all of us once again. All right, going to kick into the next bit of coverage here in a bit. Going to go ahead and get back into the comments. All right, let's see where we're at. Brian Ellis says we took off in June, just his opinion. Cool. All right, Metalex states, excuse me, Japan beefs up regulation in June, the same month Binance Japan starts. That's one way of looking at it. You know, I mean, was this all planned? I don't know. I don't know if I want to go down that route, but everything is in line, if you will. You know, especially if everybody complain about some of these prices. I mean, if we were able to basically achieve about being 0.2 of a penny short of just that, a penny for Jasmine before the flood from Binance came. Can you imagine what we can accomplish this coming June or by the end of summer? Or especially, how about this, by the end of the year? You know, I've gotten criticism. Some people saying like, man, Max, there's no way Jasmine's going to go to a nickel, like you were saying, by the end of June. Hey, to each his own. But I think we will not only achieve some of the milestones, but some other ones, I think we're going to absolutely smash that. Combine that, for instance, with you know, like these 4-year cycles and so on. I mean, especially with, you know, how Jasmine moves with Bitcoin and Ethereum. There's a lot to be said there. Boomerang Consumer says we should go to Japan and celebrate Jasmine. That'd be fun. That'd be too bad. Mr. Lambo's crypto. Hong Kong Ripple lawsuit and NASDAQ. All right. Crypto Puppet says, Max, I'm focused on Quant at the moment, $98, man. Great to buy and sell. Yeah, you know, I'm looking to add more Quant. I was literally thinking that same thing the other day when I saw it drop below $100. To me, that makes sense. So I'm glad to see that you're taking advantage of that. Yeah, I agree with that. Great time to buy. Financial advice, but that's the way we look at it. Under 100 Quant. All right, Ronnie Kersey, welcome back. He says he's very bullish long term. He still is. But short term and second half this year, I can't help but seeing another low coming, but it was strike at that opportunity. Cool, man. And welcome back, Ronnie Kersey. Glad to see you back here again in the comments. All right. Cash Cat says less than half a penny back up the truck. Menelek also states Jasmine is the accumulation zone, so people complaining are primarily traders or fuzzers. And I want to talk about this just for a brief moment. There's a particular guy, I'm not going to mention his name just in case he's watching, because I just don't like to give attention to fudders. They don't deserve it, personally. But he knows who he is. I'll just state this: he's the guy with the Pokemon ball, who has more than one account. And I'll just leave it at that. This guy would always fudge Jasmine every single opportunity, and as of lately, all of a sudden now I start seeing him mention positive things to be said about Jasmine. It's just like, oh, okay, I see where you're going with this. So yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, when things start taking off, and they could see, for instance, Jasmine has actual use case, or you've seen some of the events where it's Hara representing the brand, or some confirmations that we had about the patents and so on. You can even turn some of the fudders on your side, if you will. USMC Vet, I believe you changed your name, so thanks. And by the way, that's awesome. Thank you for serving. You're a badass as far as I'm concerned. Just keep buying. 5 to 6 months more of accumulating. Well, thank you, man. And let's go down a few more. Grab the XRP while you still can. That's a good point. I mean, we put so much emphasis on all these other ones, but if anything, how about this, guys? Recognize opportunities. You see a pullback on XRP, or pullback Jasmine, pullback on a lot of things. Quant, it's like always good to have some money on hand. Trying to ape into anything. That's just me. People are going to do what they're going to do. Dan states, Dan Armin, at 2,325,000 jet. Man, awesome. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Working towards 3, but slow down a bit. Can load up on XRP. And that surprised Jasmine Discord, according to Crypto Puppet. Jesse of KR Finance. I was hoping that it would have covered the lockup of Jasmine. Not a word on that. Maybe next time. Maybe. But they're, let's face it, we're not at the end of the year. Everybody wants a confirmation right from the get-go. Sometimes it don't work that way, Yes, got to get some Pink Taco Inu, especially on Pink Taco Tuesday. All right, Quant under 100, 24 more will reach my goal of 100. Nice, man. Man, Selma, with the XRP and your Quant, man, you're killing it, man. Awesome. Respect, sir. Gonna crush that number and buy 10 more Quant. Nice. Awesome. Oorah. Yeah. All right. You got 5 Quant today. Nice. Very nice. So, all right. Yeah, that's cool though. There's nothing wrong with that. We have other people that have served. I mean, there's Boomer F and Sooner with the Navy. You have Selmo Fudd with the Army. There's some of the other guys, not any word. Hold on, not a word on any lockup, Max. That's okay. I mean, that date will come. They're going to have to address it. I mean, it can't be. And I don't think this is really going to happen. I mean, I'm not a fortune teller, but I don't really think it's going to be something in which it's like, oh, this was mentioned, a while back. What was it, originally February? And it's kick the can down the road type of thing, or sweep it under the floor. We're not even, we're basically in quarter, still technically speaking, I think we're still quarter 2. We're not even quarter 3 yet. So, I mean, quarter 4 is quarter 4, but I hear where you're coming from. And, there's nothing wrong with wanting confirmation on anything. But I do think we're going to hear more about it. Might not happen in the next AMA, but eventually we'll hear more about it. Rumor, right? People don't want rumors, right? Is quarter 4 for lockup? Yeah, I could show you where that originally started. I shared this, of course, before. Man, my nose is getting itchy. Let me share this. If you're wondering where this originally came from, here's where it originally came from for some of you newcomers. All right, so this is where it was at. And it says Jasmine lockup period begins quarter 4, 2023. This came from, Jasmine US. Removing available circulating supply for company holdings. This is in place of a burn mechanism. This, of course, was reported originally on February 6th. And this comes from Dip Metaverse. I mean, this guy, he does have a lot of clout when it comes to Jasmine. He's always in AMAs. He's always, doing Twitter spaces and stuff like that. If anybody wasn't sure, we know that the lockup period begins quarter 4, 2023 for the Jasmine management ecosystem. Now, so this has gotten criticism. People wanted this to originally come from from Hara or, somebody like that. I don't think you're going to get it from Ondo. or anybody like that, but so it says Danny works with Hara and manages the Jasmine official Discord channel. Here it is, originally posted on February 2nd, 2023. Maybe I can make that bigger. Yeah. From Dip Metaverse. Hi, Danny. I saw the roadmap. It looks great. I do have one question, though. Can you share when the lockup period for the ecosystem begins? Does it begin at the same time as the data value exchange in Q4 2023? In regards to, some of you guys have been following this, right? Like the platinum data. Remember that whole topic? Danny states he's checked this with, Hara. Currently, Jasmine is planning to start the lockup period for the ecosystem in Q4 2023. I'll state this, okay, guys? Let me just blow it up a little more. So what do you want from this? Well, what I would like to see is, how we've gotten the ball rolling when it comes to community engagement. You seeing, for instance, Yanoslav, right, did a fantastic job of writing like what I would refer to as like a paper on the innovations, the many innovations of Jasmine. If we're a community, which we are, don't get me wrong, why not have something else to be mentioned? It puts pressure on, like, for instance, Hara. If we all come together and, bring up the whole thing, maybe like a hashtag or whatever, if people kept sharing this topic of Q4 2023, Crypto Puppet, then maybe we can get something going on. If more and more people are sharing that consistently, you better believe Hara, he's on Twitter. He recognizes what's being tweeted. He might not share like every video I've done, but like he shared a video in the past of what I've been doing, which is cool. Sometimes they see things, sometimes they don't. But if we can get this to trend in regards to the Q4 lockup, that puts pressure on him to respond to that. It's worth a try, But even if it doesn't happen, I'm not really sweating it. But let's face it, when that time comes, I just personally don't think it's going to be, sweep it under the floor, kick the can down the road type of thing. I don't see that at all. This guy, Hara, with all his criticism, for the most part, not like he doesn't jump, as the saying goes, just because you want somebody to jump doesn't mean he's going to jump, right? But he has responded to a few things in regards to Jasmine. And I'm going to show you exactly what I'm talking about here in just a moment. So I want to show you guys this. And some of you guys have seen this. Some of you haven't. But, like, for instance, the blue check mark. He used to get criticized all the time. Hey, man, get a blue check mark, right? Technically, it's a white check mark. But you know what I mean, with the blue. And he finally did that. That's him responding to some of the community concerns or demands and so on. He finally saw him on camera. It was only 3 seconds. And I have sent a DM, by the way, to, the team's Web3 Summit. I've sent him 2 DMs. One was in Japanese, which might have been perfect Japanese, and you have to keep in mind I'm using Google Translate. And the other one was with English, basically stating, hey, I saw that you guys had English to Japanese interpreters. I'm not even requesting that, but can you provide us any actual video of Hara other than 3 seconds from that team's Web3 Summit? It's been crickets. Why? Probably because they don't look at me as being anybody special. I'm not on a big enough platform. But in reality, maybe they would have treated somebody like BitBoy Crypto or Jake Gagan or Wendy O or whoever, right? That has big influencer the same way. I don't know. It could just be that's their policy, not to mention. I don't know. But it's one thing if you have a team's Web3 Summit. And you get everybody hyped up, and especially myself and a lot of us, like, oh, cool, look at this, guys. When you mention this, they are going to have English to Japanese to English interpreters. The expectation is, ooh, cool. We're finally going to see actual footage of Hara. Nope, we get like a teaser trailer, not even a proper teaser trailer. Stop flooding my Jasmine, Max. Well, I'm not flooding it. I'm just being real at the same time. These are things that people are going to complain about. I'm complaining about it. Yes, other people are going to complain about that as well. So yeah, you better believe I sent them a DM. Haven't heard anything back. Probably still won't hear anything back. It's just the way it is. But at least Hara, he does recognize some things. For instance, whether it's the emergency AMA, like some people stated, that was very underwhelming. I would agree. But at least it's not like, turning his back on the community or, sweeping everything under the rug type of thing. All right. Going to kick it back into the comments for a brief bit. On this next particular one is going to be, and of course, there's more about the thing in regards to Quant, and I'll show you that video in the comments with you if you want to watch the whole thing. I want to do that right now. So there's the whole interview. I'm not going to play the whole interview, obviously, because that, basically speaking, is, I don't know. I mean, what is it? It's pretty long. It's 44 minutes total. We played roughly about 7 to 8 minutes. So if you want to watch the whole thing, you're more than welcome to. All right. Brian Dowie says 70% lockup sounds great. It does sound great, doesn't it? You don't like pink tacos anymore? Oh, I'm sure he still does. Elon Muff, 70% locked up is roughly a 3x, but that combined with retail/institutional will send it sailing. That's definitely the way I look at it. Max says, Wayne side, are you doing well with your investments? No, I'm not doing well with my investments because we're still in this, we're coming out of, a crypto winter and so on. There's a few that I am still in the profits, but nothing to like, oh, this is life-changing money. I'm still like in the profits as far as Shiba Inu. My Doge is still in profits. My Quant, I'm not in the profits on that anymore. BSV, I think I might be slightly not in the profits anymore. I'll tell you the ones I really did well with, though. Audio, I'm still way up, hundreds of percent in audio. The graph, hundreds of percent up in the graph. I got back into Filecoin. I'm at a loss now with my Filecoin. I'm not really panicking with that. For me, with the Filecoin thing, I'm going to wait to see what kind of news we get with the Fed pause. I still believe that, we get a Fed pause, that's blast off. I truly believe that's blast off after that. But we can agree to disagree on that. So I'm invested about roughly 46 to 50 different projects. Out of that was, I probably have about maybe 8 that are profitable, right now. So I'm down. But I did make good money in regards to Filecoin originally, 3K in 3 days. Was not complaining about that and decided to get back in. But as far as me selling my position right now on Filecoin to do another power swap, that ain't happening because I'm not going to be. I don't like the idea of selling for a loss. But I feel as though I'm still going to be fine with that. If you guys got into Filecoin, I mean, it's a decision you have to make, obviously. But with the whole thing with the SEC, potentially late, getting labeled as a security, nobody wants to see those things happen. But they're on the sniper scope on, with anything, and it's like, what's next? Who's going to be in their scope next? But I think I'll be able to not only recover my losses. I think we'd be more than fine. I mean, when that news released, the day that it released, it didn't tank the price. The next day, of course, more news came out about it. It did tank the price down about roughly, I think about 20 or 30 cents on the dollar, which is bad. Don't get me wrong, but I could have chose to get out of it even then. That's just who I am. I'm still monitoring, closely to make sure. All right, do we lose, a new support line? Because there's some people, of course, that you can follow that do the technical analysis with charts and so on. I don't do that, but my thing is, if I see a new bottom for this or lose the support, I may, decide to maybe buy another position of it to kind of, offset the price with the DCA. But we all have our different reasons. All right. Selmo Flood is thinking cash. That's good stuff. Hold on a second. Boomer F Assumer says we get sprayed once a quarter. Freaking earwigs are crazy. I hate those things. I remember when I lived in Oregon. Yeah, those things are nasty. I never got one of those, horror shows of, like you have your friend when you're a little kid, like first grade or second grade, tells you the horror story of the earwig. It gets in your ear while you're sleeping, man, and it's gonna plant eggs inside your brain. You're gonna die. I mean, all the sorts of doom and gloom that never happens. But either way, nobody wants it to happen, so it is disgusting. One thing I don't like here in Phoenix is I don't know if you guys get this in other cities or states where you're at, and that is silverfish. They're harmless, absolutely harmless, but like if you have too much like plastic, they do like to mess with plastic, like plastic bags and stuff like that. I do keep some extra plastic bags because like I'll have like a thing of garbage and like, let's face it, like a full size like hefty bag, why would I want to waste that big old hefty bag on a little tiny waste paper basket? Might as well just put like a grocery bag in it. It fits it perfectly. Well, that attracts silverfish. So what I like about these guys that come out, it's a certain company and they spray for all that stuff, silverfish, all that. But silverfish are weird. I don't know if you've ever seen it. So if you go up to a silverfish and it knows it's going to be attacked, it immediately sheaths its shell completely off and it'll run like crazy to get away from it. It's kind of like, I guess, I don't know, from what I read about a long time, it's a way of it like playing possum to a sense. Like it makes the attacker feel as though that this thing that's laying there is the thing that that's dead. But I mean, who can't see that you're trying to run away? I don't know. It's a weird insect. I don't know why we're talking about this stuff, but anyway. Oh, because earlier with the spider. That's right. Star-Lord, welcome back. He says, not sure if you mentioned this, but why is Quant trending on Twitter? I don't honestly know why it's trending on Twitter. The only thing I could think of is because of stablecoin regulation and so on, and what was recently mentioned. But to be honest, I don't really have a great question on it. But I'm not complaining. If Quant wants to trend on Twitter, that's a great thing. I could just type on Google why it's trending. Quant trending. Let's see what's trending. No, I don't really see anything about why it's trending. So, all right, Wayne Size says, what is the major factors to start the crypto bull run? Well, I do believe in these cycles, and there's so many factors. So, for instance, when you see people, let me highlight your comment. They'll put focus on like there's some key things like we pay attention to what Powell with what he has to say and so on. We got to keep in mind like these things with the basis points. It affects the economy. But at the end of the day, I mean, the main thing with anything, whether it's stocks and crypto and so on, is how much supply and demand is there. But the other thing also is how much money do people have to spend on these things. You got to keep in mind 2021, right? We had a bull market and so on. Excuse me. And people like myself did well. Some of you guys, maybe you're just getting into crypto at the end of that particular bull run. Well, let me fix those papers. And you didn't get to experience a proper bull run, or maybe you're like this guy, Somofo. He's been around longer than I have. So you might experience a couple of these things, but there are this thing of these cycles. And I do remember in 2021, this was technically entering our second year or at the 1 year mark, I should say, of COVID. And a lot of people felt as though that, like there's not going to be any money to be made. And it ended up being the opposite of that because a lot of people, let's face it, they got either stimulus checks or you name it, right? There was things to boost the economy, and people did, spend it on either crypto or they spend it on stocks. They spend it on a lot of things, right? But at the end of the day, the main driving factor is the supply and demand, and combined with some like the KPI reports or how's housing doing, or how is, do we have a food shortage? Do we have supply chain issues? Like, there's a lot of other factors, but at the end of the day, if you got to go to one specific thing, it is basically speaking, what kind of supply and demand do we have for it? But my thing is the 4 year cycles. And, the reason why I put so much focus on the 4 year cycles is because those things are like due to boom here soon. And I feel as though, like I showed in, was it Bull Run Thesis Part 9? It was Part 9. I'll give you guys an outline that talks about some of these specific things. If you look back at, for instance, like 2019, right, and like how it came to an end with the next cycle, and and how we get into these 4-year cycles, in my opinion, we're about due. We're really about due, because everything, there's enough evidence to show that we're basically about due. The Fed pause, honestly, is going to be, in my opinion, the deciding factor on whether we get to blast off, if you will. But there's other things too. We put so much focus on like you said, the bull run, based off the current market conditions and so on. There's also a thing called the utility run, and the utility run is a separate thing. And the utility run could put the bull run on its back. Now, do I see a utility run happening within the next few months? No, I don't see that happening within the next few months. But what's exciting is, and the reason why I feel as though whether you're a Jasmine holder or not, you should pay attention to DFFT, data free flow with trust. As we know, Japan already is getting things going. They are 100% when it comes to regulatory framework. So when we talk about regulatory framework as the path forward for regulatory clarity, they literally have that framework developed. Now the next stage is through. If you've been following Mr. Taro Kono, the next big monumental step forward is the implementation of data-free flow with trust. Now, what's exciting for me when it comes for Jasmine is in Japan, and don't let any flutter tell you otherwise. In Japan, like there's one flutter, he's like, there's thousands of cryptos in Japan. Okay. In reality, what has been approved by their version of the SEC? There's only about roughly 56. Okay. And Jasmine is unique to itself that, when it comes to data democratization and so on. So if the concept of data-free flow with trust is the path forward for regulatory clarity, because that's the framework to make it happen. My thing is, the implementation of this by the beginning of next year. Well, by the beginning of next year, what do we know is going to be huge? By about second quarter, I think it is, April, we're having the Bitcoin halving. So there's a lot of factors that are in line, not only with DFFT, but the concept of a 4-year cycle. Also on top of that, I know this sounds crazy, but you could look into it yourself. Inflation is dwindling down. So all of us should always pay attention to all these factors: 4-year cycles, DFFT, the concept of regulatory framework to get the clarity. Either way, though, 2024 going into 2025, that's why there's so much emphasis on it. But is there still money to be made in 2023? Yes, I believe by the end of this year, there's still money to be made in it. Are you going to get the monumental returns that you're going to get, like, for instance, from 2024, 2025? Probably not. But, don't let anybody try to convince you otherwise to panic sell. And, let's face it, there is going to be a certain amount of us, even right here, right? I'm not trying to, point fingers or pick on anybody. There's going to be a few people here that, you're going to panic. And, it's part of the journey. Unfortunately, you live and learn. Crypto is a very emotional thing, just like stocks could be a very emotional thing. But I would say crypto is a lot more emotional because it's a lot more volatile. Anyway, there's so many factors at the end of the day, way inside, when it comes to the start of that bull run. But I would just, I would look into some of those things I was basically mentioning. If you hold Jasmine, you do owe it to yourself to find out more about DFFT, data free flow with trust. All right, Crypto Puppet says Quant can be a 5-figure crypto or more. Wayne, I would agree with you on the Crypto Puppet. Wayne, that would be volume. Ripple case ending. I mean, I think it's going to be ended sometime this year. I just don't know when. And clarity with XRP, a win could kick off the bull. And that's what excites about everybody, Like when I talk about, for instance, DFFT with Jasmine and how that's a big win for everybody, not just a big win for Japan, but a big win for everybody. This all leads back to even this, right? XRP that could kick off the bull run. Not just the bull run, it could kick off the utility run too. You got to keep in mind that could kick that off as well. All these things in line. I mean, It's just nobody knows the exact dates, obviously, when this is all going to happen. Get you some Litecoin now before the halving. That's a good point, and whatchamacallit, Litecoin isn't ranked 11th or something. Let me see where that's ranked. Ranked 12th. $87 all-time highs was about $389. Yeah. Very good point, Mr. Selmo. All right, I'm going to read a couple more comments, kick it back to what we have. Brian Dowie says, a few more days, you'll be at 100 XRP. All right, hold on. Dude is blinking like a freaking reptilian. Who's blinking like a reptilian? Must be talking. Oh, maybe talking about Elon Musk or something. I don't know. Huh. All right. Let's get into the next thing that we have, and we're going to get into not Quant. We did share Quant. We're going to get into the next one, and I think it's XRP. Yep, it's XRP. All right. So let's share this. And again, thank you to Henry Brown for providing this. Here it is. All right. Smash that like if you haven't done so already. This comes from Henry Brown. He retweeted from, I believe, ISO GOAT, if I'm not mistaken. Nope, not ISO GOAT. It's from ISO 222. Let's do it. Who is this guy here? All right. So it says internet equals interledger protocol equals infinite volume. All right, let's go ahead and play this. This is only about 1 minute and 6 seconds. Smash the like if you haven't done so already. Here we go.
We configured our technology in a way that really fits the problem of cross-border payment liquidity very, very well. So for the cross-border payment challenge, we've created an open internet model. We call the idea interledger. So interledger, like the internet, supports our Ripple technology globally. And that model does not require a single universal common blockchain. It requires a very open blockchain interconnectivity. And that means that the volume is theoretically infinite. It's like the internet never runs out of capacity. Elements do, but the internet still works because it's inherently decentralized. So Ripple is the same. So we have a decentralized model, which is infinitely scalable. Supporting that, we have our liquidity proposition, which uses XRP, and that's a classic blockchain. But XRP was designed from the outset for transacting. So unlike the likes of Bitcoin, which is like very slow and slows down as you continue to build on volume, the XRP model is very, very, very high speed and very high capacity. So the liquidity part is very adequately served by the XRP model. The wider network we're creating, where if you're really going to create something of value for 7 billion people in the world or 9 billion by 2050, you've got to have a very open internet type model. And that's what we have with our X-current RippleNet model.
All right. If you are talking about me blinking all the time, I suffer from sleep apnea, and it's something I've been suffering for a while. I'm trying to get it under control, but it's going to take some time. It doesn't happen overnight. I have tried mouthpieces. I tried everything. So if you do see me blink a lot, that's what goes on with that, and I can't help that. All right. I'm going to get into the next comment just for a brief moment as a bookmark. All right. Magic Power says countries set regulations, financial institutions prepare for digitalization of stocks, real estate, etc. That will bring the masses into the crypto market. All right. So we're going to bookmark that, and we're going to jump into the next part of what we have. Let me see here. It's a little bit more in regards to like Ripple and so on. So this comes from Black Swan Capitalist, Verson Malarja. You guys do follow him. A lot of you guys follow him. You should follow him. He said, Clive Thompson's thoughts on the Treasury Department using Ripple's technology before the rollout of CBDCs and the detrimental impact of corrupt regulation by enforcement from the SEC. Now, of course, you guys can watch the full interview, and I'm going to link it to you if you want to do so, because some of the guys do these things. So here's the full. We're just going to show you a brief little snippet from this here in just a moment. And yeah, So let's go ahead and play this because, we are on the topic of CBDCs. Let's face it, with what you saw earlier from Gilbert Verdian, right? Quant and so on. This one's about 2 minutes. Smash that like if you haven't done so already. And let's go ahead and play this as well.
Do you think that the Treasury Department can effectively prevent a default on the debt ceiling and ensure financial stability by using the technology and leveraging XRP's on-demand liquidity solutions? Do you think that's something that could unfold, or like you said earlier, maybe it's too soon? We're not there yet. What do you think?
To do that, there'd need to be some work on the technology side at the US Treasury. If that work has been going on, they've kept it quiet because I haven't actually heard about it. But of course, to bring in a CBDC, they do in fact need to have service providers, programmers, and I imagine they're already talking to people and even have employed them. Whether they've employed Ripple Labs Inc. to get involved with that or not, I have no idea. But if we come back to the SEC, I think there's a great deal of vested interest at the SEC to keep their power and have control over as many things as possible. And I find it a great shame that so many companies in the blockchain space would like to talk to the SEC to understand what the rules are, but are basically being rebuffed and are told, you do what you think is right, and then we'll sue you if we don't like it, as opposed to this is what you're allowed to do. It's not a very satisfactory situation if you can't talk to the regulators and get some clear guidelines.
And they're not stupid. They're very smart and they know what they're doing. They're just buying time. That's what it seems like. Agreed.
I'm way too generous of a guy, and I'll always give people the benefit of the doubt. So I suppose I should give the SEC the benefit of the doubt and just say they're not very smart at what they're doing. But
okay,
it could well be intentional. Yes.
All right. Yeah. I just seen the comments what you're talking about. Yeah, that's right. That one guy, every interview, he does blink a lot. I forgot about that. So thank you for the clarification. I was thinking it was me because of my sleep apnea. So I was like, dang, man, I got to watch it on that. All right. Thank you to Tim Shea for the report earlier about the camera. I do like, some of the feedback on it and so on. Haven't had one single hiccup. Still great. And my keyboard is not flipping out either. I will state this. I used to have a wonderful G19 full screen colored, LCD display keyboard. I mean, this is like, I don't know. I think I got it for my birthday, like maybe when I hit 30, and I'm 42 now. So I got some good use of it, but it got a little bit of water on it, like a droplet. Anyway, it was a nice keyboard, but this one's good too. All right. So let's get down to a few more comments. $90 quant, maybe soon. That's fine with me. I mean, if that happens, then, that might be maybe the lowest I've ever gotten it. I think currently the lowest I've gotten it was like 98. So I wouldn't complain. For me, some people are going to complain like, oh my God, doom and gloom. Next support is at 80. Oh, 80. Wow. Okay. Itchy nose. Where'd that spider go? No, you guys know me, man. I get allergy problems. So sometimes a little bit of my mustache kind of rubbing up against it. So I'm going to try to maybe clean up within the next couple of days as far as the trim. And it's fine right now, but I'm starting to get a little bit of some gray coming in again, and I don't like that. Melted faces will be everywhere. They will be. And, when we talk about, Selmo, when it comes to, getting bit by the crypto bug, no pun intended with the spider, right? Maybe that's what it was. A little spider. Give me another bite of the crypto bug. For anybody who hasn't been bit by the crypto bug, this is what we're going to talk about. Like, you will, once you see like some things happen, I mean, even if you don't necessarily see like, you're not a millionaire through crypto yet. Maybe you have just one that made you like an extra $25,000 or $50,000. Trust me on this. You'll get bit by the crypto bug. You won't be able to stop talking about some of this stuff. All right. Brian Dowdy says, cash, me too. just think Ish pops sooner than most people think. Let's see how far behind I am. Not super behind. All right, Max, you're special to me, bro. Okay, thanks, Brian. You too, man. Welcome to Patrick Collier with the wonderful looking fish. I don't get me wrong, Max. Why would I have you wrong on anything? I'm a big fan of Jasmine. You hold on. You hug a bag of Jasmine? What the heck? Well, you'd be like, oh, Jasmine, you know, I hold you dear in my heart. I will squeeze you like the honorable people who squeeze their Hello Kitty waffin waffles. No, I'm kidding. I'm a big fan of Jasmine. I hug a bag of Jasmine, but without lockup, we are basically in the woods. We need to put pressure on Hara, like you say, just my POV. Yeah, well, here's the thing, right? So let's say the lockup never happens. I mean, we got to be real, right? I mean, I understand I'm a content creator, but I'm not a fortune teller. All right, just hear me out. Even if we got no lockup at all, period. Like for instance, I was driving down the street. I was hearing what Rodney was talking about just briefly on the surface when it comes to Jasmine. And he went to that one particular site where, you look up certain things based off of market cap. So even with no lockup, like he even mentioned, right? Even on the surface, like $1 is more than attainable, right? Now, of course, we want to lock up. We should put a big deal on. Put pressure on Hara. Yeah. But that's what it'll take. It's not just me. So I mean, I could start something, and if you guys want, maybe I'll do that. I'll try to put something on here like, can we get more clarification? I'll start off that way. I'll quote dip metaverse, and I'll even tag Hara. But if I do that, let's all come together and let's retweet the heck out of it. I'll try to remember that after the show to do that. In fact, I will remember that. I'll do that. And let's get that thing trending, and then that way it does put pressure on Hara. So maybe we can say, we started something. And then if anything, once it trends, you could be like, hey, you know what? We started something cool. And you know what? Everybody wants to be part of something feel good thing. Now you got to keep in mind, if he addresses it and the time comes and doesn't happen, then that's going to be bad, obviously. There might be reasons for why they don't want to confirm it. You never know. Market conditions, I don't know. I'm not trying to make excuses, but there's all sorts of reasons for a lot of things. But they do need to address it, and I'm glad you're bringing it up. All right, let's see here. You know what? Maybe I can just do it right now. Let's see. You know what? Maybe I'll just do that right now. Yeah, let's get this going on right now. I'll show you guys right on the stream. So Jasmine lockup. Yeah, I'll share this with you guys right now. So you guys are right here watching. Might as well just get it going right now while you guys are still awake and stuff like that, right? Because some of you guys are on the East Coast and the show's getting a little late, and I understand that. And we do want to get to some of the stellar news. We got some big stellar news for you guys. This is not going to be WrestleMania, but I mean, it is quite the lengthy show. All right, so there's this. Sorry, Dingy. I know you don't want it to be super late. Let me share this. I'm going to share this with you guys as we speak. So I'm going to quote this, okay? So here's me. I'm liking it. I'm going to quote the tweet. I'm going to say, can we please get some clarification on this? Is it going to be a 100% lockup during Q4 2023, or will the lockup be over a set duration? Either way, let's get this clarified from you, please. Thank you, Hara-san. Hara-san, great honor for your honor. No, I'm not gonna put that. All right, thank you, Hara-san. And then I'll put hashtag Jasmine, $, Jasmine, and then I'll put hashtag Elon Muff, and then I'll put hashtag Japanese Japanese Muff. No, I could put a lot of other stuff. Anyway, that's enough right there. And let's go ahead and I think that's good enough, right? Okay, all right, let's you know, I always tell my students to proofread their stuff. So can we please get some clarification on this? The question. It's going to be 100% lockup during Q4 2023. I should say 100%. So 100% lockup. I should put 70%. This is going to be 70% lockup during quarter 4 2023, or will the lockup be over a set duration? Either way, let's get this clarified from you, please. Thank you, Hara-san. That's fair enough. All right, let's go ahead and tweet this. Boom. And let's go ahead and let's retweet it. All right. So you go to my Twitter, which is, where the heck is this thing at? Up there. All right. And let's get this retweeted. Right there. At DPG Maximus. Don't do at Crypto Talk Now 21. No offense to Larry, but the one that's coming from is mine. You want to use that one. All right. I'm going to read just a couple more comments, and then we're kicking in to, I think, what it's going to be the XLM news. Yes, it's going to be Stellar. So if you guys are still around for Stellar, it's going to be cool stuff. Some stuff that you've never seen before, which is cool. All right. Guys, talk about my itchy nose. That's too far behind. Elon Musk, speaking of TNA, what do you project? Hold on. What do you project for Jasmine? Another big move down or up? Might have some more going down briefly, based off of market conditions. So, but I do think in June, after June 1st, we should see like really some significant upside, to say the least. Not financial advice, my friend, but that's just the way I look at it. I hope you don't get wrecked. You know, I know you're doing some of that leverage, or you're doing shorting, or both. Max, do you think Arbitrum ARB is a sleeping giant? It could be. I've done a little bit of a dive into it, but not a full deep dive. So I don't want to BS you on that. Don't you feel like it can be one of those cryptos that start mooning like crazy, like $1? You know what? That's a good point, and that's what bugs me about this project. So, you know, a lot of times, like you'll see, how should I explain it? So, when it comes to like Ethereum and Solana back in 2021, Solana was something like kind of like rivaled Ethereum based off of like NFTs, use case, a lot faster, and so on, right? And it had its time. Don't get me wrong; it may very well have its time again, even with, you know, pausing and, you know, this, you know, stops working at times, which sucks. Nobody likes that. But with Arbitrum, if you look at it on the surface, it's part of that mix, right? You know, it has some of those use cases where, like, you know, was it like it's like a bridge asset to a sense. And I don't want to sound like an expert on it because I'm not going to BS anybody about this, but from what I've seen on the surface, it kind of has that feel towards like they are a big player that's now part of this whole mix of the Ethereums, if you will, the Solanas, the next guy, the Polygons, if you will. As far as how much value is that going to be worth, I don't know. And that's where I would advise anybody to take more of their own deeper dive into it and so on. But you know, on the surface, it very well could be. Is that enough for me to want to dive into it and so on? I don't know. You know, for me personally, I'm fully aware there's going to be some projects that I missed the boat on. But there's also projects that I will have not missed the boat on, and you guys will miss the boat on. Like, I'm fully aware that some people are not invested in audio or the graph or some other particular projects, right? Or how about this? You know, like Cool Cat Crypto, right? You know, he's into BSV. Some people will just not get into BSV for whatever reason. I'm into BSV. Some of you guys are into BSV, but some people, they'll look at BSV as like, oh, this is fake, you know, fake Satoshi, and they just won't get into it. There's always instances of that, but I have to find a little bit more, and maybe somebody links me to it. I don't know. I could take more of my own deep dive. There's only so much time in a day, but I have to have something that's going to be the aha wow moment for Arbitrum for me to want to dive into it. Because for right now, where I'm at personally, and I don't think anybody can blame me for doing this, I'm at the point where I'm already into roughly 46 to 50. I have to recount it. Different crypto projects. And out of those projects, I would say there's a good maybe 25 or more that I should really, really stack. And there's probably at least 15 to 20 that I should truly stack even more. I should stack more XRP. I should stack more XLM, especially at these prices, 8.5 cents. I should stack more Jasmine, which I am. My focus right now, I'll be honest, is Jasmine and Quant as far as stacking because of the prices. Even a little bit of XLM and even a little bit of XDC, right? Because, we have seen a pullback for XDC. But there's some other ones that I still believe in during a bull run. Not now, like currently speaking, not look too good. Like Clearpool doesn't look too great right now, but at these prices, it's very appealing. I could literally quadruple my position of my Clearpool at these prices. I might do that. Zilliqa. I know a lot of people don't talk a lot about Zilliqa, but some of the prices pulled back on that. H-bar, like there's a lot. So like, am I really going to go after something that I'm not familiar with? With Arbitrum, there has to be something that is so convincing that, man, Crypto Puppet's right. This is truly a sleeping giant. But you're not the only one who has brought this to my attention. I think I've seen Waddy mention it. I've seen, who is it? Mike Cornwell, you and your buddy, what's his name? Dr. Crypto X or something like that. I saw some of the things that he posted about it. But there wasn't enough there to make me want to like, dang, man, I'm missing the boat on this. I need to dive in. I missed the boat on Pepe. That's a different thing. But I'm talking about, if we're talking about long-term projects or sleeping giants, like you mentioned, yes, Arbitrum could very well be that. But there's obviously other ones that could be that way as well. It's just how much you're willing to allocate towards a project. For me personally, it's not, I'm not so much of wanting to branch out towards other things. Don't get me wrong. There might be, like, for instance, Mike Cornwell's pointing out elk. There might be, for instance, another Rio. There might be another whatever with, low cap gems. Don't get me wrong. But I like the portfolio I have. And I am convinced that, yeah, man, I need to stack more quants. And I'm really getting towards the goals I want for Jasmine. And I should hit some of these goals within the next couple months or so, or sooner. Who knows? For my million Jasmine. Am I saying for you guys go out and buy a million Jasmine? No, everybody has a different situation with what they got to do. But that's where it's at. All right. I kind of talked a lot on that topic. Where is a good exchange to get Jasmine? I get mine off of KuCoin. Never had any problems. But I will say this much, Somo. I don't know if you're a fan of KuCoin. You won't be able to use the US-based debit card because of regulations and stuff like that. So you're going to have to use a third-party outlet. It used to be that we could use Bittrex, but you know what happened with them. But even on the fee, it's just significantly lower than using, like, for instance, Jasmine /ETH, for gas fees and so on. But yeah, never had a problem with KuCoin. I typically go with that. I understand some of the guys are upset because of the whole issue with Ledger. But my thing is, like, I want to see what's going to happen with Citadel Wallet, the hardware wallet in the future. I may lean towards Citadel in the future. On the surface, I kind of like what they're doing. But who was it earlier? Was it GS or was it Crypto Jedi? You guys mentioned, you're like, should I run over my Ledger? I don't know. I don't think it's to that point yet. But there's a lot of people jumping ship. All I got to say is this: if I was an up and coming rival to, Ledger, man, whoever that is, I would totally be like seizing the opportunity. We talk about supply and demand with crypto. There's definitely supply and demand when it comes to recognizing, hardware, cold storage at this point right now, because there are a lot of people who are very ticked off about that. Brian Dowie, the beer flu pumped money into crypto for sure. All right. Let me read a couple more comments, and I'm going to get into the Stellar news. But glad to have Star Lord and some of the other guys here, obviously. Max talking about me. That's okay. Wow, Quant is at 97. Nice. All right. There was a guy in a video you showed blinking line. Oh, yeah, that's right. My bad. Max is talking. Yeah. My bad. All right. Smash that like if you're a Stellar holder. Man, this is going to be the main emphasis tonight. You're like, how is this the main emphasis of the night? Max, 2 hours and 20 minutes into the show, still holding about 52 people strong. How could this be the main emphasis of tonight? Well, you should have had that to be the main emphasis earlier. I got work in the morning. Yeah, I hear you. But there's also replays. And if anything, we might chop this up. So I'm going to jump into this for just a brief moment. I'm not going to read all of this. This comes from Alp, and then we're going to get into some of what came from the Stellar Foundation. So I want to share this with you guys. This comes from alp.lsp. He's now alp.web3. You should follow him. This guy deserves all the credit in the world. I mean, he does daily Stellar news. All right. So like I said, Stellar solves the time and money issues that come with traditional cross-border payment methods. You can perform transactions in minutes for fractions of a penny. We know about this, some of this stuff. Stellar also enables you to build amazing applications that leverage the power and reach of the network. That's where I want you guys to focus on this. What are some of these amazing applications? Well, let's introduce one to you. This was recently reported straight from the Stellar Foundation. It says building developer tools in a cross-chain world, insights from the Cubist co-founders. Now, you may be like, I don't know who these guys are. I'm going to introduce that. Earlier, I think it was today or maybe yesterday, they had a sit down with some guy that you're probably familiar with Stellar. But it says, for instance, welcome to the second episode of season 2 of Tech Talks with Tomer, a video and podcast series hosted by Tomer Weller, Vice President of Product at Stellar Development Foundation. In every episode, Tomer speaks with some of the smartest engineers in blockchain about the biggest innovations happening in space. Now, I've already went ahead and reviewed this. One of the key takeaways I want you to have from this is the background of some of these guys. For instance, they go to Carnegie Mellon, right? And some of these guys are like, I believe, professors, if I'm not mistaken. Why would professors from Carnegie Mellon want to get mixed up with Stellar, right? Well, you probably already have the answer to this. So there's that. There's another thing, right? So we're always talking about like what projects have real world use case. How about this? What projects are solving things at scale that not necessarily scale, but like solving a problem by introducing a solution with utility for that real world problem, right? So it's not necessarily about the scalability issue. I got to requote myself. That's where I want to introduce this to you. Okay. So with this, you're going to see Tomer chat. I think it's pronounced Tomer. Let me pronounce Tomer. He chats with Fraser Brown and Riyad S. Wabi. They are co-founders of Cubist. Cubist builds security-focused developer tools for multi-chain, cross-chain development in Web3. We're always talking about Web3. What is Jasmine? You name it, right? Everybody's talking about Web3. This is going to help developers write contracts for multiple chains with the ease of just writing for one. That's one of the key takeaways I want you to have. On top of that, Cubist received a grant through the Stellar Bridge Bounty Program in the fall of 2022. So this is one thing I love about Stellar, right? It's one thing to make news about certain things, but there's another thing like, oh, hey guys, remember this project that was building back in the bear market, the crypto winter of 2022? Hey guys, here's an update. Well, it's just that. Here's an update, right? So they're going to talk about why Cubist bridged with Stellar and how to build securely in a cross-chain environment and developer tooling in blockchain. Now listen to this, like I just mentioned before, both Riyad and Fraser are assistant professors, so not professor, but assistant professor, are you kidding me? At Carnegie Mellon University, in addition to running Cubist. So we're going to watch this. I'm not going to play the whole thing, but I fast forwarded to some of the juicy stuff. All right. So these guys look pretty enthusiastic. I fast forward to this, and we're going to play roughly, I don't know, maybe 7 to 10 minutes of this. There's some key things you should pay attention to, and you got to listen to this. So smash that like if you haven't done so already. I'm going to come out of the frame. Here we go. If you're a big fan of Stellar, you should pay attention to what they have to say. Thank you for joining us here for Crypto Talk Now. Here we go.
So maybe you can give us just a high-level quick overview on like what Cubist actually is. Oh, do I get to do that? Okay. Let's see. So we think of ourselves as just like sort of building developer tools for like secure and productive development in Web3. So that's a super high level thing. So what does that really mean? So the kind of the first product, the first thing that we really thought hard about was a software development kit that lets you think about your distributed application as if it runs on a single chain, even if it runs across many different chains, including off-chain code, et cetera. So, I think if you look at the way that folks build like multi-chain apps today, there's a lot of mixing of layers of abstraction. So, let's say if I'm running on, I'm going to work with Sorbonne, and I'm going to work with Ethereum, and I'm going to work with, Avalanche, whatever. I'm going to work with like 3 or 4 different chains. And I start by writing my application on each chain, and then like thinking at a really low level about like how the bits and bytes flow from like chain A to chain B to chain C. And then maybe I, jump in and use some provider who like actually gives me the bridging connections between the chains. But as soon as I do that, like the actual way, like mechanically, what I do when I like pull in, bridge provider X is I go and I get their code, which is like, if I'm on Ethereum, it's like a Solidity based contract. And I inherit from that code. And so that means that I basically just have pulled their code base into my code base, right? So at the end, what I have now is an application where all of my logic is totally mixed with all of the logic of the bridging implementation. And so now I'm kind of stuck, right? Because if I want to say switch bridge providers, or if I need a different bridge provider because I need a different connection that my first provider didn't give me, then well, I get to rewrite a bunch of code, or I get to throw things away, or whatever, right? So that's kind of a weird thing, right? It's if we're talking Web 2, like if I build a web app, like I don't start by implementing TCP and then like go from there, right? Or maybe some people do. I love TCP, but but that like people would look at you like you were crazy, and yet that's basically the status quo. So we said, okay, look, there are techniques for handling this sort of thing. There's like, and this is where I should shut up and let Fraser talk, because she's the one that actually like really designed this piece of the system. But basically the idea is, look, you describe where your code runs, and the SDK figures out how to connect those things together. And it's like there are patterns of the way that these things interconnect. And like your code gives enough information for us or for the SDK to generate those connections, without your having to do it. So that means that what you end up with is an application where, if you really kind of think about it as all running on one chain, it's just like, here's the logic and here are the pieces and here's how they talk to one another. And then, oh, by the way, in my configuration file, I can say this one runs on chain A, this one runs on chain B, this one runs on chain C, and here's my bridging provider between them. And like all of that low level weirdness that doesn't have anything to do with your application's logic, all of that gets generated automatically.
And the nice thing about code generation in this situation is it's actually a lot easier to get right and to prove right. So if you're coming at this from a sort of verification perspective, where you're like, okay, I want to prove that my application does the right thing. If you're looking at a bunch of different applications that all use existing bridge provider code and then intermix that with their application logic, like actually proving those applications correct is going to be really, really hard. Right, you're gonna like every single thing will look different. That's never good for the tool. But if you're actually just generating code, that's one pattern, that's one pipeline. Like there's so much less that you actually have to prove correct if you're trying to get an end-to-end guarantee. So that's one reason I really like this code gen approach. Aside from all the things that it makes easier for the user, it also actually makes things more correct.
So I am curious, Fraser, from your perspective, you spend most of your professional life in non-blockchain land. And coming from that background, how is the experience of onboarding into the world of blockchain in terms of, from your angle of, the type of tools that are available for software developers?
That's such a fun question. Okay, so there are 2 parts, I would say. One bad, one good. The thing that is cool is, at least in like the smart contract area, people use a lot more heavyweight of correctness tools than they tend to in normal software development. Just because the code is so critical and it's quite small typically. So you're actually looking at a case where verification is both tractable and reasonable to do, right? Like, on the other hand, if I'm just some dude writing some random web app, like a calculator, okay, probably it doesn't need to be verified. If I'm writing a smart contract, okay, now I'm very motivated to actually verify that code. So one thing I think is really cool is all the both academic and industrial options for heavier weight techniques like formal verification, like symbolic execution. That's really cool to see. I've actually used some of these tools. We had to write a smart contract for one of our other products, and I used Sartora's prover to verify it. It was so fun. So yeah, yay. I mean, you really wouldn't find that in any other area. On the bad side, like, so typically programming languages, like, okay, they don't have the best presentation of their own semantics often, but man, like, trying to figure out certain solidity semantics is really tough. People seem like the day-to-day development experience in everything from like what are the semantics of the language to what tools am I going to use to what's my like CI/CD pipeline, all of that stuff seems really less good than their Web 2 alternatives. So on the one hand, we have like amazing verification tools, and on the other hand, it's like way harder to just test your stuff or like figure out what the language is telling you it does. So I find that paradox very interesting.
Well, to be honest, I'm surprised that there was a good part to that answer. So that was already better than I expected. Yeah, tooling and blockchain. There's a lot.
It's bleak. It's bleak, right?
But you're also in this position where you have visibility into the guts of several blockchain platforms because you support more than one blockchain, and you're really in the guts of these smart contract runtimes. So how is the variance between the different platforms? Obviously Soroban is the gold standard, but tell me a bit about about the rest of the space.
Actually, Riyadh, you start. I want to think a little more about.
Yeah, and it's okay to talk shit. We don't. Our viewer audience is very small. Yeah.
This one's going to blow up. I have a feeling we're gonna say just the right words. No, okay. So my perspective is obviously a bit different than Fraser's, but just the way that frequently I've looked at these different. The guts of these different VMs is from the perspective of how are we interacting with them? Like, what am I like as the if I'm a remote node and I'm making queries, this sort of thing. And so just a slightly different thing. There, the variation is just incredible, right? So on the one hand, you have smart contract platforms where there's like super weird semantics of like how you I'm trying to think of a polite example here. So there's a well-known blockchain where there's sort of this weird idea that you're like kind of pulling in pieces of system code, but until recently, those pieces of system code were not actually, validated as like the system code. So like you can think about this as basically like, yeah, your operating system, except any user space process can just like write over the code in the operating system. So like, wow, okay. So there was like a little bit of a missed connection there, right? So I think there has been a little bit of this kind of thing where it's like, well, each of these VMs is kind of an operating system, or roughly a processor and really low level guts of an operating system. And some of them have been really carefully thought out. Here I'm thinking of Soroban, and some of them have sort of grown like kudzu or ivy, and sometimes that ivy grows over and hides a really nasty rock. So yeah, I mean, to me, it's like when you interact with these machines, you kind of see like the ethos of the developer, and sometimes that ethos is like, well, we're going to be very careful about how each piece talks to each other piece, and sometimes, unfortunately, that ethos is more like, well, okay, next we need this thing, let's do it this way. Okay, next we need this other thing, let's do it this way. And so, you can end up with a little bit of a grab bag, and sometimes the grab bag is full of knives.
All right, so you guys are more than welcome to watch the entire thing if you want. I believe I shared it with you earlier. Here it is again, just in case I forgot. All right, so there it is. Now, I want to show you this next part before we kick it back into the comments. So let me go ahead and do that. And I want to show some key highlights that we have here in regards to Cubist, because you may be wondering, like, why put so much emphasis on this? All right, so dating back to this particular article from April 18th, all right, this actually comes straight from them. And like it says, it's here. It says, we have officially launched our non-custodial key manager. And I'm going to try to blow this up a little bit more, actually. All right. So, yeah, their non-custodial key manager to help Web3 infrastructure teams secure and programmatically, manage secret keys. Our chain agnostic platform, again, chain agnostic platform, that in itself is pretty significant, provides hardware-backed storage and signing for staking deposits, validations, and withdrawals. Now, of course, this is a thread about this. It says, without a streamlined key management solution, teams have had to store secret keys on servers or go through enormous effort to piece together vaults and signers. Were you aware of that? Both arrangements allow direct access to raw keys, meaning a breach or insider threat could result in serious loss. Now, listen to this. On the tail of Ethereum's Shanghai upgrade, they, as in Cubist, aim to create a new standard for validator security. The unique design of their key management platform combines their team's world-renowned academic research across system security, verification, and cryptography. I mean, this is a standout project that is built on what, guys? It's built on Stellar. So, a while back we put so much emphasis on, Sarabon. You even saw, for instance, Richard Common Sense Crypto. He covered it quite a bit as well. This thing with Cubist is definitely worth taking note for, because they have built the infrastructure to tackle some real world use case problems that need to be simply tackled or addressed, right? Like, do they have a solution? Well, look at this. Their solution safeguards infrastructure keys with secure hardware and uses short-lived privileges to sign transactions and validation messages within the bounds of programmable policies. Cubist provides anti-slashing protection, anomaly alerts, and audit trails out of the box. They design their key management platform following a single principle. Treat everything as untrusted. For instance, like with Quant, you hear Gilbert Verdian always talking about, like, let's create the internet of trust. Okay, well, we're creating that, or you guys are trying to create that, obviously, with your connections with, IETF, Internet Engineering Task Force that dates back to the 1980s. But this is a good approach, because you cannot assume that anything could be trusted. So they have to treat everything as untrusted. Even if an organization's systems are hacked, the key manager can prevent an attacker from signing malicious withdrawal transactions of validation messages. By developing the solution, stakers, providers, blockchains, and other validator operators get the highest security assurance of any key management platform on the market. No one, including Cubist, can see, copy, or steal the raw secret keys. That is crucial. So when we're talking about things about, we want the institutional money coming in. Institutional money wants to be convinced not just about clarity, but you have the securities to back that up. Enter in Cubist, a project built on Stellar, right? How about this? Migrate from existing key stores to Cubist hardware-backed storage without ever giving access to raw keys, and integrate quickly using their interfaces for popular validator clients. Of course, you can learn more by going to this particular link, and I'm going to drop the link in the description. Or not the description. I'm going to drop it in the chat for you guys to take more of a look into it. But yeah, they did just that. They had this thing about launching this key management platform. So this is cool stuff. I'm glad to be able to share this with you on a video format to give you kind of like a little gist of who these guys are about. But it's nice to get updates from Stellar themselves, I should say, in regards to, you know, a project that's built on Stellar, and then finally get an update. Because, you know, it's like some people have criticized Stellar for doing this in the past. You know, maybe it's somewhat warranted. I'm not going to completely agree with it all. And that is, oh, you guys have, you know, greenlit this project to be built on Stellar, and then we get no update. Stellar has definitely been killing it lately when it comes to getting more updates in that regards out to the community and so on. A lot of stuff flies under the radar. Let's admit that. But this one definitely solves a real problem with real world use case, and it's built on Stellar. That's pretty big. I don't see any other projects that have any competition to, for instance, Cubis and what they're trying to solve. That in itself, we talk about supply and demand. There's going to be a lot of demand for this, if you will. So we'll have to pay more attention about it and so on. But glad to share that with you guys. And let's face it, it's Stellar news. Who doesn't want to be excited about Stellar news? It doesn't, you know, you don't get news about Stellar every single day. All right. I'm going to kick it back in the comments for a brief bit. Blackwood says, stupid pair of a woman should resign already. And Triple C says, you can't stand chicks that look like birds. Hold on just a second. All right, and then let's see. I want to also welcome the Aussie Life up to all. Howdy, Max. Glad to have you here. All right. Squawking what someone else already said, even worse. I want to welcome Mr. Edward Vincent of Top Shelf Crypto. Glad to have you here, Edward. All right. Brittany still here in the house. You have a whoa. I'm going to skip that comment. Brian Dowie, Jasmine doesn't have to get to $17 to make huge gains. I'll take it, though. Yeah, we all take that. Dingy Algo flies down faster than Jasmine. Dang. Yeah, let's take a look at the price for Algo. Algo round. I only have one bag of Algo. I mean, it's a decent sized bag, but I am kind of okay. We're down to 0.1486 for Algo. Ah, cool. Thanks for still being here. You'd be happy 50 cent Jasmine. Hold on a second. All right, sorry about that. All right, Brandon Webb, what's going on with Jasmine? We talked about it earlier. You can always rewind if you missed that segment. All right. I'll read just a couple more comments. BSV is doing crazy things with music, according to River. How's elk looking? Let's see how the elk is looking. I think it's roughly around the same price as it was before. It's down to from 15 cents to about roughly 13 cents. All right. So wild number for XLM is 5K. XRP wild number is 10,000. Was the wild number for Algo? I don't know what the wild number would be for Algo, to be honest. I wouldn't have a clue on that, to be honest. I'll have to reevaluate that. What do you guys feel? Anybody else already commented on it? All right. All right. Boomer says, hold on. Well, here we go again. They announced a new beer flu in China. Elections coming up. Beer flu? Yeah. Huh. Interesting. New beer flu. All right. Cool Cat Crypto, gotta have a good smart contract platform to run the CBDCs on. That's why you think Stellar will be the one to run the CBDCs. Okay. Cool stuff. They'll definitely be part of the mix, right? All right. XRP can't do smart contracts as of right now. All right. The Parrot Woman comment was about Janet Yellen. Ah, yeah. Oh, yeah, she does kind of look like kind of a bird-esque to her. I do call her Bedhead Yo. Maybe I should start referring to her as Nest Head. I don't know. That's horrible. All right. Seriously, what the F are they paying her for? Well, all those things. All right, let me see what else we got that's also part of the mix before we kick into whatever else is left. Hold on a second. All right. Okay, I know what we got. Got a brief bit from Tokenizer. And then after that, I think that's going to wrap it up. All right, so I'm going to share this. I did retweet this from Tokenizer. And looking forward to having him on the show again at some point. Make sure you follow him. Probably one of the best deep divers out there. It says new report. And this is, of course, reported 8 hours ago. Let me see where I'm at on the frame. All right, so he says new report from various BIS banks, right, on CBDC progression. This report focuses on 4 main points: policies, technologies, ecosystems, other focuses. Let's dig into the connections. Central bank digital currencies, ongoing policy perspectives, posted in May of this year. Bank of Canada, so on, even Bank of Japan. Of course, the Bank of International Settlements. I like this. I'm sure it. He says the first thing we notice on the cover page, almost every single one of these central banks participating in the CBDC pilot has some evidence of connecting to Quant, right, with SATP/TC307. Coincidence? Let's keep looking to find out. Central bank digital currencies, ongoing policy perspectives, and some of the key highlights is obviously Bank of Canada, European Central Bank. This one I don't know how to pronounce. Swiss National Bank, Bank of England, of course, right? There's been a lot of coverage for Quant, Bank of England, Board of Governors, Federal Reserve System, right? Within their key message, it stated that CBDC development in the private sector is also essential. Great news for some of the projects collaborating with who? Finance leaders and public sector giants that are building towards CBDCs. Here are some of the key messages. This is already, of course, blown up for quite a bit. Development of CBDC work requires careful consideration and engagement with a wide range of stakeholders, including the private sector and legislators. The experiences of this group indicate that no single form of outreach or engagement fits all purposes or all stakeholders. Two-way public outreach on CBDCs may take different forms, like bilateral engagement and so on and so forth, right? But look at this. It says private innovation is seen as an important factor for the long-term success of any CBDC. Depending on jurisdictional circumstances, central banks may choose to take different approaches in shaping and guiding private sector propositions for possible CBDC services and use cases. Some may favor a model where the central bank clearly defines a scope of practical use case, whereas other central banks might favor allowing the private sector to innovate within a set of principles and objectives. Here's a little bit more from Tokenizer. He says, again, it's more of the same, right? It seems that the general consensus in the central bank operations is that the creation and the ecosystem of the CBDCs will be a hybrid approach from both sectors. This is good not just for our regulated utility bags, but also the coordination of CBDCs. And he gets more into this. So he says the central banks contributing to this report anticipate that any CBDC ecosystem would involve both the public and private sector. I'll read this part too. They may also need to consider the optimum level of adoption needed to meet their public policy objectives. For example, certain policy objectives may only be achieved if CBDC adoption reaches or exceeds a certain level. This may in turn influence the functionality, solution design, and use cases for CBDCs. How about this? He says they look back at their previous pilots such as Jura, Helvetia, CBDC, etc. The result was that they confirmed interoperability between not just blockchains, but pre-existing systems such as RTGS, right? Real-time gross settlements is essential. And you heard many talks about that in the past, especially when it comes to, from the perspective of Lewis Jackson, Bruce Larja, you name it. Additionally, they also mentioned international standards, right? The Quant connection. And we, of course, established some of this where people are on board with it or not. The complex design questions and the potential risks arising from the implementation of any CBDC require careful consideration. Listen to this, because remember, everything that's in green, quant feed is, let's face it, it's a quant type of thing. To the extent that any central bank wishes to actively shape demand for CBDC as part of its larger policy toolkit, there is likely no one-size-fits-all solution for whether pricing or quantity control approaches are most suitable, either in the introductory phase or over time. CBDC, if issued, must be interoperable with other forms of money and existing payment systems. Two key issues are how CBDC would connect with instant payment infrastructure and how CBDC transactions could be processed at point of sale terminals. International standardization could be highly beneficial in supporting the development of CBDC ecosystem. Now, there's a little bit more here, obviously. In the last slide of the report, we see the new group members that are contributed to the report in 2022. Many of these entities all have some connection to the regulated utilities we discussed, primarily, for instance, Quant. We briefly go over some of the larger members and their connections. Annex 2, steering group members in 2022. You have, for instance, some of the co-shares are listed here, such as the Bank of International Settlements, obviously the Bank of England, some of the key players, right? Some of the members here. Bank of Canada, Caroline Rogers since September 2022, Timothy Lane, European Central Bank, Fabio Panetta, Swiss National Bank, Cecilia Skeansley, up until about July 2022. Expert working groups were led by Timothy Lane and some of the other people I just mentioned. How about some of the co-chairs, just for a brief moment? Cecilia Skeansley, right, of Cerberus Riksbank, and John Cunliffe of the Bank of England. Cerberus, if I'm probably not pronouncing it wrong, right, is Sweden's central bank and utilizes Quant's partner Oracle mission critical systems. Don't think I need to mention Quant connections to England. Right, we already understand that. There's going to be heavy connections, and we already established that. Here are some of these people, right? In regards to Cecilia, she's the deputy governor, from 2013 to president of the Central Bank of Sweden. On top of this guy, John Cunliffe, he's head of finance stability, 2013 to president of the Bank of England. On top of that, look what's mentioned here. The Risk Bank establishes total control of license uses with Oracle. And it states, we use Oracle products. I know it's hard to see this, but just hear me out. We use Oracle products for our mission critical systems almost exclusively. When we procure new business critical systems, we compare different solutions regarding operational stability, scalability, economy, and other factors. Given these considerations, we almost always choose Oracle. Now, why would they want to highlight Oracle in this case? Well, as we know, Oracle is one of the key partners for Quant, and they do use their infrastructure. And we have confirmed that, whether people choose to believe that or not. You could deep dive more into it yourself. How about this? Digital Pound Foundation, right? It's a speech by John Cunliffe at the UK Finance. All right, a little bit more. Two members with clear connections to Quant's operations. Timothy Lane with the Bank of Canada, Fabio Panetta, for instance, with the European Central Bank. Timothy and BOC have been connecting with Quant, most notably on a panel together. Listen to this. Like last year, Fabio works with the ECB and Italian banking, likely under Spunta. And we talked about a little bit about that in the past. I did a deep dive video in regards to all this. Fabio Panetta, Executive Board, 2022 president, I should say, European Central Bank. He was also the Senior Deputy Governor, 2019 to President for Banca d'Italia. Timothy Lane was still is, Deputy Governor from 2008 to President in regards to the Bank of Canada. Director/advisor 1998 to 2008 for the International Monetary Fund. I don't know if it was Tokenizer, but somebody else was on the show a while back when we were talking about the International Monetary Fund. So there's a little bit in regards to that. In the lower right-hand corner of that slide, you do see, for instance, mentioned, maybe I can blow this up a tad bit more. No, I guess that's the biggest. I'll blow this up on a different slide. I want to show you guys this because this part's good. All right, so let's blow this up. On the bottom right, it's still hard to read it, but it shows CBDC leaders panel states how much global coordination are we seeing? And it mentions Gilbert Verdian, founder and CEO of Quant, and also mentions Thomas Harjano, who's the CTO of Connection Science of MIT. He also has that Quant connection. All right, I'm going to jump back to a little bit more in regards to this. Tokenizer has a little bit more, and it's approaching towards the end. It says, overall, these links seem quite prominent. We can look at this in two different ways. And again, guys, I mean, you got to appreciate the deep dives that he does. I mean, please give Tokenizer a follow. It's really up to about 23,200. Just absolutely kills it with the knowledge, the research, you name it. I mean, he's still in school, for crying out loud. So we can look at this in two different ways. Number one, these banks are all connected to Quant. They're chosen for this operation. The large majority of central banks operating CBDCs tests all have connections to Q&T. Wonder what other projects are connected. Right. There are quite a few others, but let's face it, there's the whole topic of NDAs. Quant Pop has mentioned that. Of course, like he says, if you enjoy this thread, please consider giving him a follow, like I just mentioned. He provides consistent DLT research, and it's not just on Quant. Tokenizer kills it on a lot of other things too. He covers, for instance, HBAR, Morpheus Network, Constellation DEG, Energy Web Token, like he mentioned. I think that was like his second or third of his top three. He likes Casper as well. I do as well. And many more you can find in his bio link. But yeah, Tokenizer, man, killing it. Looking forward to having him back on the show at some point. All right. Let me see what else is left. I think we have some brief notes we're going to give you guys. Yeah, just some brief little snippets. I'm going to get into that, and then I'll kick it into the comments. Some weird things that were reported, to say the least. So I'm going to share this with you. This comes from Investor Place. It's an annual subscription I have, and so on. Here's some brief updates. So if you weren't aware of it, and I still feel as though Uniswap is a good opportunity to get into, especially these prizes. They are coming to Moonbeam. Some of you guys have mentioned that you are invested into Glimmer, aka Moonbeam, a popular Polkadot parachain. Moonbeam is EVM compatible and heavily focused on cross-chain interoperability, making it a natural fit for, of course, Uniswap. The integration should boost liquidity and volume across Moonbeam in a broader Polkadot ecosystem. Now, here's the part that is just weird. Let's just be honest. This is just flat out weird. All right. This thing with Visa, because we're always talking about, for instance, like, and of course, people criticize Quant for this, and they criticize Jasmine. You know who they are, all right? And that is when you bring up, Ethereum's ERC20 tokens and so on. So yes, your eyes are not playing tricks on you. Listen to this. I was blown away with this. I just couldn't believe it. Visa has been experimenting with new payment solutions on Ethereum. You may be thinking, are you kidding me? But in regards to their ETH testnet. The company tested, listen to this, guys, two methods of payment. One test explored paying fees with alternative ERC20 tokens. Okay, alternative, not native ERC20 tokens, because it's like, what's there to experiment? You got to get hit with tremendous amount of gas fees, and it's going to be incredibly slow. And other explore sponsored transaction fees. That in itself is very, very interesting. I want to find out more about this when I can. I'll try to bring it to you guys. Maybe you guys will find stuff you can share with the community, where the case be. But if there really is some kind of alternative to this, is this the hint that we got before when what I shared earlier? I think it was like sometime last week, if you remember. I shared you guys at the beginning of the show a little snippet or a segment, if you will, that came from Vitalik Buterin. And he was talking about, Ethereum moving on forward and what his plans were and so on. Is this part of those big plans? Because if we do get a good alternative to this, that might be worth paying attention to, because, some people feel as though there's obviously still opportunity with Ethereum. Whether you're a fan of Ethereum or not, I'm not a big fan of Ethereum, obviously, but I'm a fan of what? I'm a fan of opportunity, just like any other person. I think this is worth paying attention to. All right. So as you guys know, I'm personally invested into the graph. If you hold the graph like myself, here's a little brief update. They find their way to Phantom. with an F, and also Polygon. Developers on both networks can now leverage, shout out to Mike Cornwell with his leveraging, the Graph's best in-class decentralized data solutions. The Graph has also announced that it has expanded the capabilities of subgraphs to include off-chain data. The last one, we won't do necessarily the one about Near. I don't think a lot of you guys are invested in Near. I mean, I wouldn't mind getting into Near. It's on my list to be invested into, but I'm just not into it yet. But a lot of us are into Polygon. So let's just state this. In closing, Polygon leads the pack for brand adoption in Q1. The Polygon network has been the blockchain of choice for major brand releases, accounting for, this is 43% of the 241 projects that it launched. Ethereum saw the second most launches with 34%. That's significant because about this whole debate that's been existing for the last couple of years, and that is, will projects who are, for instance, already established on Ethereum, will they jump ship to something else, whether it's XDC, Polygon, and so on? Well, boom, there's the proof in the pudding. Look more into it if you want. All right, that's the last bit in regards to, I believe, our coverage. I think that's just about everything, and it looks like it is. I will get into the comments. I do appreciate everybody who's here tonight for Crypto Talk Now. All right. Didn't mean to go so long tonight, but I did. I think some people do appreciate it. Some people don't. I don't know. It's kind of mixed. Max, I'm definitely the best deep diver. Oh, I'm sure you are, my friend. I'm sure you are. And if you're still here, it makes me wonder. And if you're not, then I obviously know what you're doing. No, I'm kidding. That's bad. Bad. All right. John Francis, most of the U.S. government are useless parasites, but some of us will be excellent millionaires. That's a good point. Craig Connor, welcome back. Also want to welcome, John Francis. Sorry, I meant to welcome you as well. I read your comment. Sorry about that. The pre-sale ends in 27 hours. I have enough BNB to finalize the sale. This cookie sale token will be the same contract that we can make for our Elon Musk token. Oh my gosh, it's getting brought up again. I just need 5 wallets to buy 30 BNB. Interesting. Well, you know what? Maybe you want to go with Mr. Elon Musk in regards to that. You could reach out to him on Twitter. I could give you his Twitter handle. Give me a second. Let me see. It's the wrong button. Let me pull up his page. Mike. Here we go. Here's Mr. Elon Musk's Twitter handle. All right. So as you can see right here, he can be followed at Micheal, spelled a little bit differently, right? Cornwell, Cornwell. All right. I'll leave that up there for you. That way you can get it. Okay. You're going down in a blaze of lights, wine cooler. They're deliberately depressing the prices. All right. Let me go further down in the comments, see if there's anything specific that you guys have. John Francis, dude, I'm taking Danelle Dixon out for dinner when she goes to 10. Oh, okay. You might have her husband there with you, but that's all right. You're hoping to get a 20 out 100 score on Token Sniffer in regards to that thing, huh? John Francis, Max, I request you wear a tuxedo one time on live chat, man. Yeah, at some point I could do that. I've worn a tux a couple times in my life. Never been married though, but I have worn it. I won one for my 8th grade graduation. And what was the second time? I forgot what the second time was. Ever Vincent, just don't underestimate. That would be awesome. Yeah, no problem. Yeah, maybe at some point I will. Maybe I'll do it like, when everything's at all-time highs or something. Ever Vincent, I just don't understand why people wouldn't appreciate you going the extra mile, Max. The only time that going the extra mile is not good is for Uber drivers. Oh, jeez. Great show in Crypto Talk. No, it's just, I won't mention who it is. He knows who he is. He's here tonight, and that's okay. Some guys are on limited data plans, right? We all have different situations. And I can understand that, like if you got a couple hours, I try not to do it all the time. Like for me, the days of me doing 5-hour streams, it's just not beneficial to. It's not really beneficial to you guys because some of you guys are going to be asleep. It's not really beneficial to me. In some ways, it is. Like if I'm going to chop all that stuff up and put it in videos, okay, that's beneficial. But I think for the audience that we have, they appreciate my deep dives a lot more on the recorded than me just taking little snippets, if you will. And at the end of the day, I mean, it's kind of like I look at it from the approach of quality content over just quantity. Don't get me wrong, we've had times in which we put out a bunch of content and then like one will just boom, you please the algorithm. But I also come to the conclusion, and I think Larry would agree, it's just, when people see that you have the quality content, you took the time to do a proper deep dive, that shows, and that's done a lot better than any things we tried to like throw out quantity wise. But thank you, Mr. Edward Vincent of Top Shelf Crypto. Give me a follow around Rumble at Top Shelf Crypto. We want floating head, Mac. We all want some floating head. Oh, yes, you're talking about me wearing, yeah, my bad. Floating head crypto, of course. Sorry about that. Yeah. Are we really doing an Elon token? I don't know. You're gonna have to get with him about that. I cannot make those. I don't have the answer for that. All right, Brittany says good night. Yeah, after you guys talk about some of that stuff, naughty people, she's gonna say good night. Good night to Brittany. I'll do some. Hell, if it's named after me, I will. And you know what? If it does happen, you guys got to commit to. There should be some kind of commitment, in my opinion. You don't have to do this. But I will state this. So, and it's free, right? But it should be something like if you buy Elon Musk token, you have to basically tag Elon Musk at every single opportunity. Because all it takes is him recognizing that one time. I mean, come on, was it the Milady token? What happened with that? Pepe? Can you imagine if he just tweets one single time for the Elon Musk thing? Boom, to the moon. Max, definitely some good educational content for the archives. Oh, well, thank you. Appreciate that. Yeah. The beautiful thing about being single again. I am single once again. Yeah. Yeah. Celebration. No. But I am. And I ain't complaining anyway. Although I'm not really looking for anybody. I actually just want to focus on, stacking crypto and stuff like that. And obviously working, anyway. Top Shelf Crypto is asleep right now. Please don't wake it. You'll rock. Oh, okay. You rock too, Mr. Edward Vincent. Thank you. We all love. Yes. Floating head, huh? Anyway, if there is an Elon Musk token, there will be a Taylor Swift token. That's a good point. Elon Musk says, damn, Max, say some ladies for the rest of the world. Yeah, right. Yeah. I'm not. My days of. Yeah. I'm at the point in my life. I'm 42 years old, man. I need to set things up good for my future family, whoever that is, and really take things seriously. And that's just the way I look at it. And I'm not, all jokes aside, to be honest, I'm just trying to meet like maybe a good Christian woman who has some good values, who'll be loyal, and wants to seriously like. What about the days of like, I understand it works both ways. A man should be a good husband. A woman, in this day and age, you should also want to be a good wife. You know what I mean? So it is what it is. But at the same time, I'm not really trying to like jump back out into the whole thing. No. I'm trying to basically focus on building generational wealth and having things set up for a future family where they don't have to struggle and stuff like that. And living in poverty for a good portion of my life. I mean, some of you guys have lived through that. I mean, it's tough. you find out who you really are and so on, in good times and bad. But that's where I'm at right now. I want to basically get things set up the right way. But if I meet the right person, cool. But at the same time, if I don't for a while, I'm okay with that too. I'm not gonna beat myself up about it. So, all right. Sean Francis says, "Amen, Max. No weapons formed against us shall prosper." Thanks, John. Elon Musk, Max, you a good guy, brother. A rare gem. Them hoes don't deserve. Well, thanks, man. You're a good guy too, Mike. I appreciate you, man. Crypto Puppet, make sure she also likes crypto, Max. Yeah, good point. Max, go check out the Waffle House. Oh, God. Oh, man. I do enjoy going to like a late night diner once in a while. I haven't done that in a long time. Prenup Max, protect your bags. Yeah, that's a good point. Blue Waffle House. Saying crypto music is a must for a partner. Yeah. Belly Jean was my lover. All right. What is that? It looks like some brains or something. Let me see that. Is that beans? Belly. Oh, it looks like some beans. Like Jelly Belly? Oh. Or Perkins. Yeah, that's a good point. Good point. I was going to say something else, but oh well. It's getting late. All right, look out for some deep dives. Yeah, they are jelly beans. I thought they were. My bad. Thank you. Welcome, Belly Jean from Twitch. Very cool stuff. All right, guys. So look out for some deep dives for Quant, Jasmine. It might not necessarily be tonight, but I'm gonna get back in the rhythm of doing that again. I need to. I'm gonna confirm some things in regards to like what this guy brought up with AI. Hello, I am the one, but the kid is not my son. Oh, okay. All right. Well, that's going to wrap it up. Thank you so much for joining us here tonight for Crypto Talk Now. I'll be back with you guys tomorrow at 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific. And I'll try to please put out like maybe a Quant video, Jasmine and so on, because I haven't done any of that because of the whole problem with the camera and so on. So hopefully you guys like the new camera. And possibly, man. I mean, it's just a lot of times I get requests and there's not enough supply and demand for it. I'll tell you what, Crypto Puppet, if more people would like to have that, I might choose to do that. But I have to hear a little bit more. I don't want just to be, it's no offense to you, of course, but it's just, there's got to be more people that want to see that. If there is, I can possibly do that. So fair enough. You all have a great night. We'll see you on the next one. Smash that like on your way out. Thank you.